Welcome to the Rally Points podcast for the love and fun of tennis.
Fast River Cruise back at it this week, covering happenings in the world of tennis, current and past tournaments, year-end championships, and much more. The last 30 minutes are dedicated to technical and tactical suggestions that we hope you find helpful.
I am hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.
It is funny what they consider for we're on. We're talking about the final 1994 Wimbledon McEnroe.
84.
1984.
84, bro.
What did I say?
94, I think.
84. Barely.
I was in my teens. Almost graduated.
What was
high
it, Kev?
school.
Was
That's
it?
how sad it is.
What was it? Was
4 unforced errors
In total.
in the course of the
McEnroe
3.
and Connors?
Yeah, McEnroe Connors, the Wimbledon final. And I mean, it was a blowout. What was the 2 1
One, 2, and 1, you said?
Yep.
1 2 and 1. So I mean a blowout, but 4 unforced errors made throughout the whole match and 0 in the first set.
Yeah.
An entire set without an unforced error. I mean,
That's
pretty impressive.
impressive.
I mean, I don't know. You can make 4 in a game.
Yeah.
I've lost games making 4 unforced errors. Not only a set in a game, honestly. But there is, I don't know, how does that work? I mean, there's someone tracking that stuff.
Yeah. Statistician.
Right, but it's based on there's got to be some type of set of
Guidelines there?
There's
Yeah,
probably a
standards or
guideline,
something.
And then they interpret it on how they feel.
But
I mean, you
what's the
consider an
thing? Yeah.
unforced, your feet are set, it's a ball that you should
Will you
make.
consider
You're
like a
not-
fake on a serve in doubles? Will you consider somebody faking and your opponent missing a second serve return, forced or unforced? You know, that's the subjective part.
Right.
Because that's somehow you influence that person.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, in doubles, there might almost be no unforced error returns. You got a net player right there
Yeah.
who's pressuring you.
Yeah.
Isn't that alone make it a force?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Singles,
Yeah.
little bit of a different story, maybe.
Yeah.
But in doubles, just having someone up at the net, that's enough
Yeah.
to.
Right?
I mean, in singles, even if you're not, let's say someone hits an approach, comes to the net, and it's not a great approach, and you're there, your feet are set, ball's in your Willis, and you miss it wide. Is that an unforced error or is it a forced error?
That's the
Because
thing.
someone is at the net. That alone is there. Now there's some pressure. So isn't that forcing you to miss
go
that
for
shot?
more.
So anytime someone's at the net, is that considered an unforced error?
I mean, I would. I mean, you're playing somebody. It's not like you're not hitting a wall. It's like somebody's over there. You're reading a body language.
Yeah.
You know, you're reading. It's the score. That person has done a series of things that made you miss a few shots before. So now they might sell you doing the same thing. That is
Yeah, the score can't play a part though.
cannot.
No,
I think it could.
4-4 in the third set. You're
Yeah.
like,
You're a little bit tighter.
yeah.
A little bit more pressure on that point. So you go to the net, you put the pressure on the guy, and
Well, going to the net does, but just the score can't dictate whether it's a forced error or an unforced error. I get you can feel
What I'm
pressure
saying,
at
I'm
certain
just
score,
giving
but
you,
right?
like, the-
No, but I'm
yeah.
saying like
Yeah.
if you miss an easy shot at because it's 30 all, you're serving at 4-5 and you're feeling some pressure.
Yeah.
The forced or the unforced has to do with the physically what's going on with you, right? The shot coming in, how pressured
it's
you
how
are
far
on
do
the
you go?
shot.
How
not-
far do you go on the, reading
Yeah.
it?
I don't think they take scoring to. I have no idea what they do. I'm
Well, that's-
I'm
No,
totally
they're definitely
guessing.
not. But what I'm saying is a player,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, shit, man. I was,
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'll make that shot 10 out of 10,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
under
yeah.
pressure, it's
Yeah.
tougher. Well, welcome back, boys. We took a bit of a break. Little did we know, it was months and months.
6
away.
months.
Yeah, something like that. No
Yeah.
reason other than being summer and busy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's,
I mean, summer's hard, and then
yeah,
it opens up very quickly here.
and it's fall now.
Booming.
And it's like we're just, yeah. But we gotta get back on track. So, back to the stats. I was watching Zverev and Alcaraz today, and Zverev served out of his mind. They were in the second set around like. He was up to had a 3-1 because he up a break early in the second set, 3-1 or 3-2, something like that. And the commentators were saying that when he missed, so 7-6 the first set, so he served 6 times and another 2 games, and so 8 times he served at that point. He just missed his 9th first serve.
What was the score? Sorry.
7-6, 3-1 or 3-2. So he served by like 8-9 games.
Wow.
Right?
Only missed his 9th first serve.
9 first serve at that point. He was in 80%.
I was going to say, at least in the 80s.
80% first serves. He was winning. That's a good stat.
It's
man.
a great stat. I
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah, Alcaraz didn't break him. He won 7-6, 6-4.
Yeah, that's big.
He can serve big, man. So after he had those, remember the yips that he had in the U.S. Open final there with him and team. He was up 2-0, and he had those demons for a while. Then he's just cranking the serve now, man. He's on a winning streak. He won Paris. He's won three matches in the groups at the Masters in Turin. Yeah, he won the group, and I think Ruud came in second. I'm pretty sure actually because Ruud beat Rublev just now, and
What's the other one?
on the other side, Sinner and Fritz.
Fritz made it?
Fritz made it because he beat Medvedev.
Oh, he did.
He beat Medvedev in the first match, and then Duminar lost to everyone. Tough for him to beat up. You're 8 in the world, and your game is defense. He works up to a point, but not
Right.
when you play with those guys that have all weapons. I think he won 1 set. Same
Yeah,
thing.
Goes to show you where the
Yeah.
marker is.
Right?
Right there.
Yeah. In Rublev, I think he lost all 3 too. He lost all 3 in his group. He lost to Ruud, he lost to Alcaraz, and he lost to Zverev.
Did you watch any of his matches, Rublev?
Yeah, watch it live too in Montreal.
No, in the
Masters
past
now?
one, the Masters.
No way.
They were just talking about how he's losing it
I mean,
on the
he's
court, like even more so
He always has been. It's just
mentally
yeah.
gone.
I think he made 10 quarters in Grand Slams, never went past the quarters. Because you always hit those top 8 in those big moments. So I think it's just, mounting up to like him not, dude, when he's not beating those guys. I think this is like his second, third year in the final 8, but just not making any dents. It's tough, man.
Well, maybe that's where you are, though.
That's
That's
not a bad play.
Eventually,
Yeah.
that's still pretty impressive. But
Right?
maybe eventually that just says,
Yep.
that's where you're at.
He's, I think his second service, we're talking about it. And you see it. It's not really biting, not doing much. Yeah, curious to see who's going to win it. I mean, Sinner's on a roll, man. He got a year.
He looks good.
He looks solid.
He really does.
Solid. He's got some. What he won? He won. Because he went on a tear there. He won Cincinnati. He won U.S. Open. He won Shanghai. Right. I don't think he played Paris. Or maybe he did play, but I can't remember. I have to check. And now he's winning this one. So it's like,
What's happening right now? Which one is it? Right now?
is the year end,
The year end.
the final 8, the top 8.
That's with the. Is there a funky court or something there? What did I see in the office the other day?
No, you were watching it. It's a different color court.
Yeah, there's something happening there with the picture on TV.
Oh, the angle of the
No, I think it wasn't the court, huh?
I don't think so, but maybe. We'll see. Could be. They have a different angle sometimes, but they say it's pretty slow when it fluffs up the balls quick, but I don't know. Maybe you heard something different.
No, I thought I remember seeing funny lighting or
Could be.
court, different
Could be.
different color court. What's the color scheme on the court?
It's pretty blue.
It's blue, right?
Yeah.
Blue and like gray or blue and white.
Blue, something like that.
Well, the lighting could be because sometimes
This is in the office the other day.
Yeah.
It was on, yeah.
sometimes when they do this, they have like the audience is in dark.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's
So
the
it
thing.
really,
Yeah.
It really spots light it, and it's indoor.
Yeah.
A a lot of the things that you see are outdoors, so you see everything. That's why I think you're thinking the court looks a little bit different.
Interesting year with no none of the big four winning a Grand Slam. Two Sinners, two Alcaraz. Alcaraz got French and Wimbledon. Sinner got Aussie and U.S. Open.
I feel like you were saying that a while ago. You were like, when you were talking about Fed and Djokovic and all those guys sort of not playing anymore, you were like, oh, it's just going to see different. There's not sure anyone's just going to be out there winning like over and over again. Maybe some
It's going to be
different
all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a period of that, but those two, like Sinner and Alcaraz, look like they're getting... But also, Alcaraz is becoming a little bit more human, which is cool. Because he's got some up and down.
Human in what sense? That he's losing? Or that
he's losing early, and he shows emotion, which is good. He's got to go through the process of... He smashed the racket, and which I think because he won French. By the way, man, how close is French and Wimbledon together? They're like 3 weeks apart, and they're so grueling, so demanding, and you have one that's like physically demanding on clay, and then one a completely the opposite surface. So he won both of those, and then he played Olympics. He lost in the final there. I think that's what got him, because he lost to Joker, 6-6. I didn't see that match. It was on Peacock. I was looking for it like everyone. My God,
I don't even know what Peacock is.
Yeah, how many more subscriptions can you get?
Oh, it's a subscription?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they come up with that name? Let's
I
go
don't
with
know.
this.
NBC.
Is it NBC?
Their symbol is the peacock.
Oh, so that's why?
Wait, that's an NBC subscription?
Is that what it is?
Peacock
NBC?
subscription, but NBC owns.
No, I know that. Yeah.
And I don't know who owns NBC. Everybody owns something. That could be Disney. I have no idea.
They were, so that was, and then, so after he did all that, so he went, Alcaraz went clay, preparation for Wimbledon, back for the Olympics on clay, and this is within a month and about 5 weeks or so, and then he actually went to play Montreal.
On hard.
Yeah. And he cracked down there. That's when he broke a racket. Just like smashed it. He lost to Monfils there. And was it that or was Cincinnati? Maybe it was Cincinnati. Cincy, right?
I think it was Cincy.
Cincy, yeah, because they skipped
Cincy.
Montreal, yeah. Montreal was, I was there, and it was, man, I love watching who won it there. Alexei Poprin, the Australian. He was. We sat and we watched him 2 days, 2 matches. He was just crushing the ball. Played Dimitrov. Played.
This is live.
Rublev.
This is when you went.
Went to Montreal. Yeah, that was a fun tournament. Anyway, so Cincinnati, I think he broke the racket, but because Sinner didn't play.
Good
the Olympics.
smash.
Oh yeah. It was
Destroyed it.
Oh yeah, it was it was a good one. And then he said he's gonna take a little break, or not a break, but he tried to regroup for the U.S. Open, but he lost to.
I mean, that's what they
Van
all
de
do.
Zandschulp.
That's what they
in the
all
second
do,
round.
though, right? I mean, they're
Yeah, but he didn't get a break. That's the thing. He said he's gonna take, but couldn't.
He didn't. Yeah.
He couldn't. And then because Cincinnati, then you have a week off, and then U.S. Open. And he lost in the second round U.S. Open. And I think a few weeks later, Laver Cup.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah,
I mean, they're-
especially when you're that good. But that's what I'm saying. He has some up and down.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he just needs a little bit of like, whew,
yeah, yeah.
okay, go relax, buddy. You know, it's gonna be an interesting year next year. What do you think Djokovic is gonna do?
Oh, I think he's done.
Think so?
I do. He'll try. I think he's got to pick and choose if he's smart. Right? Like almost like what Fed was doing and what Nadal was
I
doing.
think you get to that stage when
I
you.
think he has to.
I think he's got issues with the other knee now too.
Yeah.
So
it's just going to happen.
I also think he came back too soon too. Then from that knee injury, he was trying to play too early.
It's amazing that after you, like, I don't know, people are wired different, but it's, why wouldn't you want to just not have to train and start enjoying your life and living your life? What else do you have to prove? Except, what else? Are you going to do anything that's going to further your career or legacy at this stage? Like, just because you're playing a lot? Like, what? I don't know.
That's it. We talked about it before, right? Like, what do you want to go on top? Yeah, kind of like.
Or even close to it, or I don't know. I mean, God, even if you're, I know, you're playing big tournaments, you're earning money, but man, you want to grind constantly and train and this. You have no interest in just like enjoying your pretty awesome life you probably have set up. Yeah, give me a break. Like, you could be on permanent vacation and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, enjoy your kids.
Enjoy everything. Your
family.
Yeah.
But maybe they make a decision as a family, like, hey, let's push it 2 more years. That's another like 15 million in the bank. And
do you need another 15 million in the bank? That's the thing, though. Honestly, at some point, like, by the way, there's other ways. He can figure out other ways to make money once he's retired.
Yeah,
too.
They all do. Yeah, that's a good point.
It just seems like such a grind.
It's
that I don't know how people stay.
And I don't think you could put it as people. And I know it's probably wrong to hold these guys at a higher standard, but the athlete and the high they get on it, it could be his ego saying, everybody thinks I'm done. I want to play
better and longer than
I'll show you one more time.
Tom Brady.
I mean, I guess that's maybe the last thing you can do at that age is be like, I'm going to do it longer than everyone else.
It's a high that they run on. And you could see some of these guys that are retired, they're like, oh, I miss it. I miss sort of that high.
It's all you've been doing for all your life, really.
That's all they've been doing. Just
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, I know. But as us,
honestly, to me, I'm like,
it's easy. We could just walk away from it. But someone like they're like, I just can't walk away.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing at it, but I think that's sort of the mentality that they have. But
I know. Yeah, it's you get to the top of a mountain there, and then you're the only one who can know. But the only one that knows what it was there.
Yeah.
I think we got Shauna. Shauna, are you there?
Sounds like
tall man.
Yeah.
A drink, a little mixed pack.
No fluffies.
I'll get you one.
Oh, you dropped the ball.
Thank you.
Well, while we have the young buck here, and going on, we were talking about the Big Four not winning anything.
Yep.
In your guys' opinions, is there a new Big Four, or is it a Big Two?
Yeah.
I think it might be a Big Three. I think Sinner, Alcaraz, and Zverev. I think they're
the dominant now.
They're the dominant ones. I don't know. Is there a fourth that's close, or is it like a big drop off? Right? Don't you think those are the three?
I mean, you still have Medvedev there. There's nobody's going to beat him other than the top 4.
So would you consider him like the fourth in the Big Four? If there's a new Big Four.
Yeah, well, I mean,
just by explanation, if no one up from the top 4.
I think he's still going to be there for a while, Medvedev. But yeah, there's a couple of youngers that coming through. Like Arthur Fils is coming strong there. But it seems like Alcaraz and Sinner just kind of picked up whatever.
That's what I see.
Nadal and all those guys were doing.
They're the only two with consistency.
Consistency at the top.
I don't even know. I mean, Alcaraz hasn't looked great.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I think he just got tired after like French, Wimbledon, Olympics. And after that, he didn't have enough. I would have taken a month off, man, and be like, just be a kid. You're 21. Be a kid. You know, just let your mind. He's the best.
But everyone does that grind. They're all, I guess, because he's winning those.
So
he's
much.
playing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he won
so
much.
Because everyone's in that grind.
Yeah.
But when you're, I guess that's the other flip side of that.
Yeah,
you're like, as you're winning, you're playing more than everybody.
It was actually a funny Tiafoe when he got to the final of Cincy against Sinner. Because actually it was a good match. I think it might have gone to deep into the second set or got to the third set, and Tiafoe was like, I don't play that much, man. I don't get that deep in the tournament.
Right.
No, they play 5
Surprised
matches.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had actually, in Cincinnati, there was shitty weather this year. I think it was just rainy a bunch and all that stuff. They had they had matches, two people playing, like people playing the same day. Monfils actually he beat Alcaraz. He had to play after 2 hours. That's tough.
Really?
Dude. He's 36, man. 37. That's tough. 2
Wait a
hours
minute,
after.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that happen?
Because they played 2 rounds in one day.
In one
so-
day.
Yeah.
They got backed up because of the
Yeah.
rain.
So they're like, you know what? Here you go back. This guy's like, man.
Really?
yeah.
Probably he's like, I haven't done that since I was 13 years old. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Is this,
How often
Right?
are you playing 2 matches in a tournament? That's got to be once in a.
no, I mean, you as a
Moon, same
junior,
day.
maybe
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah.
you do, but yeah,
Yeah.
No more double headers.
no.
I know, but they had to like really get in there. Get the
Those,
matches.
like 2-5 USDA players like, what? Warrior Weekend. They're doing at their districts playing 8 matches in a day, you know?
I used to play 2, 1 consolation, 1 major.
One consolation.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. So that I want to hear what do you think about Djokovic next year? Do you think it's done? Do you think it's just gonna still float a little bit in the big tournament?
I feel like he's got to make one more run at least the big 4. Maybe he stops doing.
Kev's point is like, does he need to? Does he want to?
No, I don't think he. I mean, obviously he doesn't need to, but I think he's one of those guys. His mindset, everything he's done with his diet, his workouts,
Everything,
he's
right?
putting like everything into tennis. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys have, but this guy's gone
Love
such
me.
a crazy
Right.
route with everything that I feel like he still somehow feels like he has something to prove with everything he's done, even though he's already proven everything he needs to. But he's just like a I am robot thing. Like, I won't go away until you peel me off this
I mean,
damn court.
that is
and
the
I
other
can't
end of it. Is,
Stop.
you know, I'm like, well, put your feet up. Like, you have so much life. But at some point, when you're like, I have dedicated my whole life to this, and I'm still, in the grand scheme, still fairly young, like, why not give it a little bit more time? But it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm amazed where the motivation comes from, because you could be like,
Those
dude,
sermons,
dude,
man.
you have like, you've carved out a pretty good thing. You can live the life now, and you're waking up and training, and I don't know.
He's like Tom
May-
Brady. Guy
Yeah.
debatably
I mean,
threw his
yeah.
life
and
away
maybe
because
for
he's
some of
just
those guys,
Correct. That's a good point.
wants to chase goals
All
that
they do.
most
Yep.
people are
Yep.
Yeah.
done with.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's-
Maybe it becomes a bit of a lifestyle too. Like, he might retire, and that guy is still
Bored.
waking. Well, I mean, he's still training. Maybe he's not hitting tennis
still going,
balls,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's like, he just lives a certain way. It's like you're in the military for a certain amount of
Yeah.
time or something. You come out and you're still like,
Federer had the best one. I was like, man, I don't know how. They're asking him how was retirement. I was like, I'm very busy. I got drop off schools, drop off, pick up. He's got 4 kids.
right,
Yeah.
He's like, I just don't have time. He's like, I haven't hit a ball.
right.
Actually, I saw a video of him hitting in Africa. It was just so smooth, man. So smooth.
I mean, don't you think whatever your sport is, when you retire for probably a couple years, you don't do it at all? Maybe then you pick it back up, and don't you think for a little bit that's part of the process is like you don't do it
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
You know, what's he gonna do? You're retired. You're gonna call your neighbor. You want to hit some tennis balls?
But yeah, the only tough thing with Djokovic too is I feel like all the other guys, and by the other guys, the other 2, Federer and now Nadal, had such other big streams of income
Yeah.
that they have
does
coming.
not.
He has his logo that he does, but you don't see that.
Nobody's-
Like Federer, he's all over Rolex. He's all
Are
over
we
the
concerned
Star
about?
Act.
Are we concerned about his financial
No, yeah,
situation?
but-
I'm pretty sure he's got it carved out already.
Exactly. But I wonder if he.
But
just,
can he turn that into anything at any time? I
Like,
mean, what?
if he feels
Couldn't he
like
start
he
the
wants
Joker
more.
Academy, or if he can do
Yeah, the
commentating?
global, I think you're
or,
talking about global branding.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
these guys have
Yeah.
built such a big presence where they feel like they don't need as much career-wise, where he doesn't have that side business. He doesn't need any money, but
Yeah.
almost like he wants to leave
What is he
more of an
leaving?
impression
Yeah.
because the impression isn't the Nadal Academy. The impression isn't
Right.
the Roger Federer rackets and the Lion rackets and everything
And
he's
Laver
become.
Cup
So
and- yeah.
because he doesn't have those big pieces, does he feel like he needs to cement himself more,
right? Maybe.
even though he's already done it?
well,
but
we've
does
talked
he
about that. How
chase that more.
your name, what you think you've, all this stuff you've done, like great players you've talked about in the past that.
Yep.
Remember, Ellis didn't know, or this or that. Like, there is something he said about trying to leave something that's just maybe bigger than just your,
Yes.
your on-court
Self.
Yeah.
A style, a shot, a something.
Yeah.
Yeah. way of playing. Yeah.
I think that still goes back to his
Personality flaw?
an ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, go to the argument. Who's the greatest of all time? What's your first name?
Federer.
Federer.
Yeah, he's
Federer.
waiting to wipe that.
But if you look at the records, should be Joker. He's
If
like
you look at the numbers.
the numbers.
Yeah.
So in Joker's mind, he's like, everybody still thinks Federer is the one, so I got to do more.
Yeah.
His name's all over the place.
trying to
like
be
Sean
the
was
undisputed
saying.
champ. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get the standing ovation that
He never will.
You saw Fed at the U.S. Open,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing they did for him.
Yeah.
but it stopped. And
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was just up there. And it was just like, whoa, just crazy.
Right.
Like, just like-
Yeah.
I just
Because
think
he in it
that's
for
his
the
drive.
fandom to try and
Yeah.
change. You know,
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
still a lot of these people don't receive him well. So I was like, is he trying to change their minds or what's
Maybe
he?
in his retirement he can turn it. Some people do that. They
Yeah.
become like more likable after they're
Maybe.
retired. Some people,
After.
yeah, some people don't. But like,
he does have a
There
beast.
is-
He's got a beast that he needs to turn on when he plays, and that beast is not people are not really connecting
it's just
with.
it's too desperate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
The
was he told that?
what is he hugging the crowd?
I know.
yeah.
I love
That was
that.
cringy.
Yeah. Did your parents tell you they loved you? Did
Yeah.
you were younger?
Yeah.
Maybe not enough. It's
Yeah.
now there's something about
Yeah.
feels a little desperate out of him.
But yeah, I don't know. So I think he's gonna give it a go. But I think, did you hear that he had some issues with? He was saying he had issues with the other leg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when the knees, like for that level, like Fed got another 3 years out of it, but then it was the other knee. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Just when you push in tennis, you even if you just compensate a little bit.
Well, you're playing other superhumans.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
have-
exactly.
You can't have
Yeah, chink in the armor. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, correct. So he might still make a big wave.
I don't think he'll win one.
No
No.
7
I think
matches.
He's probably hungriest for that Australian. I think he's pissed he lost that this past year.
Yeah. He he got to the final of Shanghai, right? With Sinner, he got to the final there, but then he didn't play Paris, didn't play year end.
No.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. He has, yeah. And Nadal, dude, this is the week. Next week, he's retiring. Last team event, he plays for Spain, and it was cool to see him try like on a clay court swing.
Yeah.
It's just like we keep talking about, like you take too much time off the tour, the speed moves without you, and it's tough to catch up, man. It was he lost to Zverev, right? French Open first round to Zverev.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, arguably, if he gets a different draw, Zverev got to
But
the
he go
final.
Farther.
Can he? Probably. It's a tough one, but
Yeah. But even with that easier draw, you know, how much wear and tear does he get?
correct.
Some of those guys in the first couple rounds that were, you know, gimmies a while ago, I feel like they're
They're
putting
hungry.
up
They're not gimmies now,
They're
man.
hungry, yeah.
huge giant slayers. So
Yep.
almost to get through those guys and then play Zverev is you almost wish you went out the first 2 rounds if your body's not there to play
Yeah.
Right.
that 3rd or 4th round anymore.
Yeah, it's but in a way, you know what? I think he does the right way. He picked I started playing for my country, I'm gonna finish playing for my country. He didn't do it for him.
Yep.
He did an event for his country, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He did different than Fed did in Laver Cup. He did it with his rivals. He does it with it's nothing like for Djokovic. When he retires, like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
You guys, yeah. Did you guys watch the last 12 days? Did you watch that with Fed?
No.
That was
The
a
Fed
cool
one?
one.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was a cool one. Yeah.
Peacock? Is that on Peacock?
Yeah, yeah, Peacock. Kev just learned about Peacock.
They're taking over everything.
Are they?
Those guys are buying so much stuff. Yeah, I think they had NFL rights last year too.
So
Well,
funny,
they're not-
'cause when
they're
you
not gonna
tell
buy
me-
our
that was- I was like,
podcast,
I've
okay?
never. What are they? I'm like, what do they even have?
Yeah.
But
They're one of those ones that's only good for like one thing. You only need it for one specific thing. And I think their big thing was they bought Friends or one of those big TV series
really?
a
Oh,
long
wow.
time ago,
Okay,
and
there
that
you
was
go.
why you bought Peacock. And then like that ended, and they're like, okay, what's our
Who's
next
still
one?
but
watching
they showed
Friends?
the Olympics.
Olympics tennis. They
Yeah.
bought the Olympics tennis.
Yeah, yep, that's what it was this past year.
Yeah.
And
And
they'll
they
buy
had-
like random Thursday night games.
Yep.
Throughout the
Yeah.
season, they won't buy the whole thing, but they're just enough where you got to subscribe and then forget that you have
That's
subscription.
a thing.
and
No,
go
I
back
didn't
and
realize.
look.
You see the commercials? That's
about the
thing now.
subscriptions?
Yeah.
That you have some that you don't even use.
How do people don't know what subscriptions you have, dude? I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
I have no
Are
idea.
you one of those?
You could be
I
one
could-
of those.
Well, no, I have Erica. She's takes care of all that stuff. But I could imagine
Yeah,
having
You'll buy
stuff
something
and then
just forget
yes.
about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially
No explaining.
because that's not just like TV. It's think about how often you buy stuff and they're like, you can buy this one time and it's
Or-
$60
Or subscribe.
or subscribe,
Yeah.
and now it's $57.95
For a year.
Ooh, yeah. Dude, now you do that a few times and you forget and stuff like. I could see that happening. Easy.
You are an
So
easy
they have
target.
apps now
Easy.
in which they
I have
actually-
I have an app. It's called Erica.
No, there you go.
She takes care of it all. She takes care of it all.
God bless her.
Ugh,
She
no
is.
kidding.
Yeah. Let's stick with Nadal a little bit. Do you think he's gonna play? Do you think they're gonna give him a singles match? Because it's right now it's 8 teams. In the Davis Cup. Is he fully ready? You think they're gonna?
I feel like they need like a highlight in order to get him to play singles.
Is the draw made yet?
I don't know. You can check it out, but I don't know exactly. They have. It must be ready because they start next week. So he was practicing there. He was.
Who's the coach of Spain? Moya? No?
No. Moya is his coach, so I don't know. I just wonder, like, what, because has he been training? Maybe he's been training since the French.
Yeah.
So,
Like, it only makes sense if there's history. You know?
or like
He's got
even
history
even
against
like
some
let
guy.
him
It's
play.
like, why
So
would you
what?
play
So
him
what if he
against
loses? Let him play for the country that he won so much for.
Yeah.
It's okay
Well,
if
maybe
he
they give him the
loses.
choice, and they're like,
Yeah.
what do you want to go out as?
Yeah, that's true. I learned over time to appreciate that guy. Like initially, he's being unfair, but then like, man, that work ethic that guy had, and just grit every point, man.
Yeah.
Every point, just. And it's actually the more you listen, what he says and his philosophy. He's a very humble guy, hard worker, and his mindset is just next point. I don't know what happened before. I don't know. Just next point.
Yeah.
What were I talked to you about it, switching to that mindset, that Federer Dartmouth speech there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
You got to watch that, Kev.
That's a beautiful, But he said
What was this?
Commencement speech at
he
graduation for Dartmouth this past summer.
it was early, I think June.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of
Nadal gave it?
No, Fed.
Better.
Fed. I just
Oh, really?
yeah. He was here. He was. I think it was a big. But he had a couple of very interesting things. Like when he brought up some stats, right? What did he say? He's like,
Yes.
I
You
won.
remember the exact one? What it was?
I don't know the exact number of points that he won.
Yeah.
So he said about how many matches he won, like 900, whatever he won, right? He's like, out of those matches, points-wise, I won 54%. Does that tell you something, man? If you win 54%, you'd be arguably the best player in history.
Right.
Yeah. And his
Right.
win rate, I think, was 82 or something.
That's big.
Match rate.
82 match rate, 54% points.
Yes.
Won.
Yeah. That's, and the article he was saying that his 15-second rule. Do you remember that one?
No.
So that's another cool one. You can look it up. Actually, one of your phones, because my phone is not. 5 seconds. So 15-second rule is, I could be wrong here, but feel the feelings. Allow your feelings that you have for that point. Next 5 seconds, regroup yourself. Following 5, focus on the next point. That's a cool way to allow your feelings. Mad, sad, happy, whatever.
Yeah.
Next 5. Bring yourself back together.
Get back
Regroup
to your routine.
and then get back
Focus on
on
the next
let's
one.
see what we're doing next. Yeah.
That's a good,
That is a good one.
isn't it? He had some goods, he had some pearls in that one. That was nice.
I prefer 5 seconds of a meltdown. I then wallow for 5 seconds.
Then go back to melting down.
Then I go back to melting down.
On your back with your legs up, just.
And then I insult my opponent mentally for 5 seconds and then get back on track. It's like a 30-second routine, but
Yeah, here it
lets me
is.
catch my breath.
0 to 5 seconds, acknowledge and embrace the emotion, feel happy, sad, whatever comes. 5 to 10, relaxation, let it pass. And then 10 to 15, preparation tactics.
Oh. Kev, you missed out on
It takes a
two-thirds
lot
of that.
discipline. Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline.
Or you just use your 15, just berating yourself.
God. Although, I mean, I like the sound of that. That's honestly, I mean, how much control
I
over
think he
that
got to, because he was a mad young buck.
Yeah.
He was throwing his racket. He was doing all that.
Yeah. I mean, all that's easy to say,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
In the moment, it's definitely a little harder to do, but maybe just having knowing that there's some type of process that you use helps you do it. But I don't know. It's tough to give your emotions be like, okay, that's a few seconds to do this
Start
and
the
then
timer.
this and then again, even if it's outside of that, just to work through it like that. I'm not.
He had an Apple Watch on after. He was like, I use my Apple Watch to do it for 15 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can buy it here at Best Buy.
I like the sounds of that, and that's
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Guys,
Guys that conquer their mind is like, that's
why he's the greatest.
dude. That's why you couldn't see much of him.
That's not a
maybe.
for someone like us. It's not.
So I'm going to steal this here since we're right here. This is something I've always wondered. I'm curious how you guys think about it. The new coaching rules where the coaches can be even in between points, not even games.
Yep.
How much does that change the game, and how much more impressive does that make the big three when there was no coaching allowed and they were out them by themselves?
Yeah.
Being tennis is an individual sport.
We brought this up a while ago.
We
yeah,
did
and
in
it's-
one of our other ones.
Yeah, but it changes. It changes the game.
Yeah, it's different.
It's not better. I think it changes. I think it's now you have a team of players, and what we were talking about is where does that evolve? In 5 years, do you have the statisticians that you have like in the football games?
Yeah.
Somebody just gonna give you the stats on how many what does he serve for a serve? What's like is AI gonna be able to tell you what this guy serves without before he even knows what to serve? Like on 4-all, 30-all?
Ugh, can you imagine that?
I mean,
Because
it could.
it could definitely that can definitely happen.
You know, like, hey, he's gonna go wide here.
Yeah,
Slice
this is
wide.
where he tends to.
Yeah. 90% of the time, slice wide. Yeah, this is what he thinks.
Yeah.
Now, can it happen? No, but like,
It can definitely muddy things up too. Because think about like how often on the court you make a decision, but it's unconscious. It's the right decision because you've trained it a certain times, but like you've trained it in a way like you can't like how quick a ball is coming in, where you are in relationship to that, but where your opponent like this quick decision where you hit the shot and at the end it was the right shot, but you think like, man, I didn't make that decision, but you have on the practice court many times. Now, if you're getting fed certain information before you're using it, I feel like you can be overcoached out there where like now instead of just relying on your instincts, you're relying on over information that could like, I don't know, that can lead you to maybe do the wrong thing at the wrong time. It's like meant to help you, but it could actually screw you up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it could. It could, but I mean, I think it'll change. Like Rar is saying, it'll change the game. Instead of it being an individual sport, it's gonna be a team sport of who's around you. I could even see players wearing earpieces, and they're talking to them directly. Like look at the NFL.
Right.
They're already wearing earpieces in their helmets saying this is the play you should call.
Yeah.
And said before it was manual. Now I could say, Rars has a headpiece on. Okay, Rars, you're serving out wide. That ball's going to come back here, and this is the ball. And then the ball comes back. Oh, yeah. And they're talking to him constantly. So it could eventually turn out to where instead of being a player, they're like a robot. And someone's controlling them through talking to them.
it is. I think the speed of the game will save most of that because it's very, very fast.
But aren't they
it would
talking
change
about,
it.
Aren't they talking about trying to slow the game down?
I don't know.
I've heard that.
I don't know.
They're saying it's getting so fast,
Well, a bunch of courts are very fast.
but they're
Like
they're
the
trying to slow it
speed
down.
index is
Maybe change the ball to slow it down. Try to regulate the rackets. I've heard this
Really?
stuff. Oh yeah.
yeah. I don't know what.
which could change the game too.
But that's you hear him now quite a bit. You hear him now quite a bit on changeovers, like talking, and then it goes what you were saying too a while ago, that now the discrepancy is going to be even bigger because now the people, they can afford multiple
Coaches.
Now you get more information and get all that, but I mean, might have always been the case. Who knows? Let's get into the controversies in the past little while that we haven't been. Biggest one, Sinner doping. That's kind of put to sleep now, right? It's kind of done.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Because it was quiet. It happened in Miami or Indian Wells, right?
Yeah, it was in between that time.
Somewhere there, but nobody knew until Cincinnati.
They only knocked him for a couple points and gave him a small fine.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
It was, but nobody knew about it for like months. And it was obviously split. But I tend to believe the guy, man. Like it was such a small amount. It came from his trainer hand or whatever, because it was like. So what happened there?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Let me know the details.
So twice he got tested for steroids, right?
Yeah, steroids.
It was a very, very small amount. Like the amount that like a millionth of nothing really significant. But it was nonetheless there.
Shows, yeah. Enough to show up on it.
So what they did, they're like, look, my trainer had a cut. He was treating it with a cream. That cream has steroids in it. When he was robbing my muscles or whatever, that got on me and got into my system. So that was, and got accepted, and that was it. I think they tried to reopen the file, but didn't really go anywhere. And that was it. But a lot of players like, well, the rules are rule, and they all brought it back to Halep.
Yeah.
Which I feel bad for, because what was she, almost 2 years, and then she went to play too quick and she injured her knee. Like when you take somebody's 2 years after when she's in her 30s,
Yeah.
it's not that easy. So they were kind of talking about that. Yeah, Kyrgios was big on. He's doping, all that stuff, and then he had to interview him on the court.
Yeah,
at the
right
US Open.
after.
How was that gonna go? So that was interesting.
But it happened a second time?
So they did it twice in that, like whenever that in the spring.
Yeah.
I think that you do
Yeah,
one and then you do
Like
another
right
one.
pre-US Open. It was like leading up to it, and
Oh no, that was when they tested him or when it came out.
when it came out was like
It came out pre-US Open.
mid-July.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's up after
Yeah.
Cincinnati final, I think. Yeah. Tricky.
A rule is a rule, though. It's funny that
Right.
why was that kept
I don't know.
quiet?
I don't know. Because they had an appeal to it and they brought all the evidence and everything, so they were kind of like, it was one of those, not a final decision.
Yeah.
So interesting, but I tend to believe the guy though. He's honest. He seems like a plus. He's a people because steroids didn't do much if it anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not working. Do something else.
You never know how much is like cover up in that situation, because if you lose Sinner before the U.S. Open,
Yeah, that could be.
That's the thing.
What
though,
happens
that is
here-
weird that like it was
right? Even
kept-
though great upsets happened, it was an awesome tournament run by a lot of people that didn't expect to be in those final situations.
Yeah.
But you lose your star guy
Right.
before the Open starts, and
Right.
now everyone by default goes to think, so and so Alcaraz is going to roll everyone because Sinner's not there to challenge him.
Yeah.
Even though
The
that,
betting sites,
wasn't
the betting
case.
sites worked
Yeah.
against it. Did you see that
I don't know.
with the betting sites? With we talked about this a while ago too, about allowing so much betting and advertising for it, and all the tennis shows are being sponsored by that. At the U.S. Open, Caroline Garcia and Khachanov, they both lost early, and they were favorites to go far. And they were putting up their excerpts of their social media, what people are writing on it. You should
They were
die.
getting threatened.
Good, threatened and
Yeah.
pummeled with
Because people had lost money.
people. So they were
Yeah.
saying, like, why are we promoting all
Right.
those?
Right.
We brought this up a bunch of times. Why are we promoting all of this? because it attracts a different fan. It's not a fan. This is a
No,
junkie.
they're a fan of gambling.
Yeah.
They're not
It's
a
a
fan of
junkie
tennis.
that's like,
It's just another way they
You're a
can
favorite to win.
gamble.
This sport, you never know that you can have a bad day. We all have bad days,
Yeah.
Right.
bad weeks.
And I think they saw. So it was the past U.S. Open. You guys follow Barstool, Dave Portnoy?
I know
And
those
those
guys. I haven't
guys-
followed
Yeah, I
that
don't
lately.
follow it.
So
but
he's
I
got
know.
a massive following, and these
Yeah.
guys are all built off being like Boston sports based in big gamblers. They've done a bunch of deals with DraftKings and so on and so forth. In last year's U.S. Open, he went to it for the first time, and he was like, "This is amazing." He's like, "Tennis is one of the most electric sports I've ever bet on because you truly have no idea what's
No
happening
idea,
each point.
Right.
There's so many momentum swings, and it
Right.
brings out all that emotion." So
And
I think
matchups
they saw,
and yeah.
you know, DraftKings and all these guys that sponsor Portnoy saw that, and we're like, okay, this is an opportunity. We have one of the biggest sports gambling icons of social media at our U.S. Open last year. Let's reach out to these sites
Oh,
and
really?
see if they want in, because Portnoy's 100% in. You get him, and you get a couple other celebrities.
It was
to-
money again.
Yeah, they might have saw that he was enjoying watching tennis before the sports betting aspect that he had on the side, and then why not, you know, front load it the next year that it came through, which was this year. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, of course it has.
Yeah.
There's like so much the machinery behind it that's working. So like, you don't even know what they do. But I don't like it now. You watch Tennis Channel, and when they give you the match commentary, you just as important is
Odds.
Odds.
what the odds.
It's on everything.
Yeah,
I
I was
know,
just
but
gonna
like,
say
what
that's
are we
with
doing
that's
here?
with
And there's
every sport.
So you have
now.
my
It's-
kid watching tennis now, or anybody's kid. That becomes like, yeah, that's normal. It's not normal, man. I'm sorry. That's not normal for you to just, because it's not right.
Tennis is a hard one though.
It is, but
Bet on,
so-
because like, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be like the less people like you're betting on a team sport? You need one team is favored. It feels like you need a whole bunch of people to not show up and do what they need to do for there to be some type of an upset.
Yeah.
Where like
the predictability
dude,
factor is
I
very,
do that guy.
very
Maybe he
in tennis.
ate something bad the night before and diarrhea all night and then can't play, and like there's no teammates to pick him up or rally around him or do other stuff where like
Correct.
there's so much that there's
Correct.
just two people out there, like
That's
it's
it.
tough to predict what could
And that's again what makes tennis so beautiful,
exciting.
because you don't know. There's matchups, there's like styles, there's
right.
so many factors. It's tough to compute, but now you allow that to happen. Some outside factors now that's being dulled a little bit. Because no, you get a player that can do everything, and you give him the mind of his 4 coaches, and his ability to actually process that information in real time. Now you got yourself a cyborg that is going to beat everybody.
Right.
Will it be easy? No, I don't think so, but it could happen.
Yeah.
So that's the betting. Yeah, so that there was she was Karen Garcia was like, she said that, but the way she was attacked and the way she was like man, I cannot believe this. It's like I learned to deal with this on I'm 30 but she was showing like what people are writing. People are also nuts, man.
Yeah.
People are nuts. Like, buddy, you bet it.
Right.
It's usually like $5 too. You know, it's the guy going in with like $5. Maybe there's $5 in the name. But
There's probably a million different, I don't gamble at all, but I'm sure there's probably a million different things you can bet on, like
oh yeah,
yeah.
You can
like,
go by points.
or like unforced errors or missed overheads, or do they break? Is there a million
Dude, there's
different
betting
things that
tonight.
can
You know
get
the
on?
big money tonight, right? Is Tyson playing that YouTube guy, the
Oh, I forgot
Yeah.
that's
Jake Paul?
tonight.
That's tonight.
Oh yeah.
They have bets on is Tyson gonna put his right hand in the glove first
Yeah.
or his left? Like
Yeah.
just bets on everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, tennis, a lot of it. There's no overhead points. I've tried to gamble on it. I've lost like $20 and stopped doing it since.
Come
But
again? Say it again.
the tennis, what do you call them? Not pick'ems. The props that they use.
So
For
what do they
them.
do? Yeah, but I
They
get
don't
that. But
do.
what?
They'll do like winners, over under.
Yeah.
The
Games.
most niche thing you can bet is like what's going to happen this point. And obviously, if the server is serving. It's
live betting.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you
could
do
bet
live
the
betting.
second
Holy
point in the
smokes.
service
Yeah,
game
they're
for
gonna win that
the third
point
game.
or
You
lose
could
that
pre-bet it and not know who's going to serve first, or you could sit there and, Djokovic hits a great forehand this one. You're like, oh yeah, I think he's going to break this next point. And you go, and you lock
And you
that
click
thing
on
Go
in
live.
Live betting.
Yeah.
That's a lot of action.
Talking about like
Comes in
adrenaline.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to smoke butts
Yeah.
for that.
They
I
haven't
haven't smoked
broken
butts,
down.
but if I was betting like that, I would start smoking. I feel like that makes you smoke.
Yeah. Stress level's so high. But they haven't broken down to like forehands, one off of backhands, one off. I'm sure it'll come soon.
It will come soon.
But right
No,
now
you're
it's just
right.
like match line. How many games total they win, how many sets total they win, the spread of those games. Then
They gotta
point
be
by
careful,
point.
man, because they have a product. They have a universal product here that is unique. That it's like it's universal. You attach to the player. You don't attach to a team. You start dirty it with this type of stuff, and it could create some sort of like backlash. It could create some sort of like players like I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm not gonna. Yeah, they gotta be careful like how they met, because it grew like so nicely. Obviously, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, all those guys in the last 20 years had so much to do with it, and you see a lot of those guys kind of taking the benefits of that. I'll talk to that about that in a bit, but don't ruin it now. Don't ruin it now with too much media, with too much getting involved with betting, with too much getting those guys to do fake stuff. They're asking those guys to do too much stuff, man. It's the same they ask the baseball and the football players. They have to talk with the camera after the match. They have to get to the press conference. They have to do all sorts of things. Like, man, this is different.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful, because you use a recipe hasn't been discovered yet. This is unique. Don't push those guys to do too much.
You remember when Osaka got fined? I think she got fined. What was it?
For not doing a
it was,
after match
doing the
press
media.
conference or something like that.
when
Yeah.
she first went on her mental health route.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Open after she won. She lost a bad match. She lost in like the first or second round.
Yeah, but did they go there and ask you, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, and they were
Right.
going to, and she knew it was coming.
I need my
so
30 seconds.
She skipped the post-match interview, and they hit her for like $180,000 fine because
It's in the contract
that's-
with the ATP and WTA and all. Yeah, man, it's like,
Yeah.
I get it. They
I
pay
mean,
the
some of
bills
that
to
is
be-
how they're. Yeah. I mean, they're getting paid that way, right?
of course.
I mean, that's the way it's.
But are they getting paid, or are the tournaments are getting paid?
Well, they're getting the opportunity.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, tournaments are definitely making some money, but they're making money too. It's like I don't know. I mean, you got to do it. It sucks. I mean, what's worse than sitting down and having to answer questions about your performance that you just tried as hard as you could.
Yeah.
By the way, if I was on the tour, I would start every press conference that I would lose with that. Like, before any of you ask your questions, by the way, I just went out there and tried as hard as I could.
I swear.
For an hour, and by the way, I've been training. What did you do, fat man, with is about asked this question with your greasy? You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I've been training. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. So before you ask your questions, everyone just remember, I tried my hardest.
The best way, yeah.
I tried my hardest. I'm more angry than all you are. Let's go ahead. Let's start. You know, I would
love it.
start it like that every time. Like, dude, what? I don't know. Some of the questions that get asked, I could see.
Yeah.
And by the way, they get asked sometimes like the same.
Oh yeah.
Well,
thing.
there's also
Someone just
trick
changes
questions.
one
Yeah,
word.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
what could be more?
It's cringy.
Like, one guy
Yeah.
asks it, and you're like, and you answer it nicely, but you're thinking like, that motherfucker. I can't
Yeah.
believe you asked that. And then all of a sudden, it's asked again, just a slightly different way. Or they're like, hey, let's go back to that, and you're like.
Yeah.
Dude, how many times can you make me answer
But
that
wouldn't that be cool to
question?
be able to tell someone like, hey man, we just talked about this. Move on. And those are the ones that people like. Someone
Right.
speaking real, not like this scripted.
I mean, you don't get fined for the way you answer the questions, right? They have free will to answer the way they want.
I feel like I've seen a couple clips where they kind of do that. A lot of it's happening in the NBA now,
Yeah.
which is actually hilarious. And they'll ask about like a bad rebound play or something, or you got 23 rebounds this game. Can you go on and tell me how you did that? Yeah, I jumped up and I got the ball.
Right.
Next question.
Yeah.
That's great.
Or
Yeah.
like you missed that forehand during a pivotal point. What happened? What were you thinking? Like, I don't know. I missed the ball. Like that
Yeah.
sucks. That's
Yeah.
probably exactly what I thought.
You
Like,
miss balls in tennis. It's okay. Yeah.
what do you want to walk you through how I missed that forehand? Like, come on, man.
Right. What happened? Yeah.
Ball didn't go in the court. There you go. That's how I missed.
Did you? We talked about this, Kev. Did you guys see staying at the controversy in the last little bit? The Draper versus Felix point.
Oh,
The match point?
The no call at the end of the match.
Yeah, the no call by the umpire and the player. So Draper.
I think I remember this. I don't remember what it was though.
It might have been. I'm not sure if it was Montreal or Cincinnati. One of those.
No, it was Montreal.
Oh no, Cincinnati. Because I
Was it
texted
Cincy?
Rich. I texted Rich and Ian. Yeah.
I was here watching it.
Yeah.
Live.
We were watching it.
We were here
Yeah, we were
live,
watching it live.
watching
That's
live.
right. That's right. We had some sort of event.
The double bounce.
Okay, now I remember.
The
what
bounce
you're
in the
talking about.
yeah.
The bounce off his
Yes.
racket. The ping pong shot.
So Draper serves 5-4, 40-30 in the third set. Felix Auger-Aliassime hits this beautiful return from the outside backhand, low dipper right at his feet. This guy serves in volleys. He has a backhand volley, I believe, that he hits clearly with his frame, hits the ground.
Which you
It
know.
goes over.
You know.
Which you
We've all
know.
done it. We've all done it.
If
Even if it happens quick.
Yeah.
You know it. You know the feel.
If you're
You know
over
that
like
feel.
a 3-5,
you know that feel.
You know
what just happened.
But you can see in a replay, he's showing, he's kind of like laughing. Look at it, like, and he did not own it.
he didn't call
And the
it on
umpire
himself.
did not see it, or like didn't know what to make of it. And Felix Auger-Aliassime, like, clearly just doesn't even look. He moves on to do scored because he knows he wants the points. Obvious. And the umpire's like, game, set, match. And this guy started laughing. What are you talking about? Like, I won that point. And the umpire was like, no, I didn't see it. And like that. And Draper, who could have had the power to be like, no, it's your point.
Correct.
Of
It's
course.
like, I wasn't sure. I was watching him. Dude, you never watch him when he hit a volley.
You were watching who?
Yeah, watching the umpire or something. Yeah, dude, he got berated. So he ended up winning the match on that.
Yeah.
And people were like all over him, and like for like a few days. It's like
Did
it
he?
was shitty.
Maybe he panicked in the moment.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like why else would you?
You learn from it. Obviously, he's a young guy. He's great, but that was.
I mean, you know, you know that feeling. Like, you can tell when it. By the way, it either hits your strings and then leaves, or like your frame and the ground and then takes off. You can feel that. There's no doubt. There's no situation where you're like, I'm a little unsure of that. Like,
Yeah, really. And he was saying like, if I will repeat the point. But by the way, you're not repeating the point there. You have to give it to him. If you know that you messed it, it's not a redo there. Yeah, it's like the guy won the point.
They needed the jumbotron up in
So
tennis,
that's
so
what
it's replaying it.
So I'm not sure actually where they're right now. I gotta check because that was a big push towards electronic, not like review, and they should have it for the serves. I think they might have that now actually, or some situation like this.
Yeah,
Play the replay. It's very easy.
right.
You can see it on the replay.
By the way, everyone on TV just saw it. Let's let one of them make a decision. Let's let one of them make a call.
So that was a big one. That was, man, the poor guy had to close his accounts of social
Oh,
media.
yeah. He got attacked big time.
I wonder why he didn't just say something.
I know. Well, he's 21. He wants to win. He's gonna
Yeah.
make it to the quarters of a big tournament. Like it.
I know, but here's the deal. Like, if you're in a tournament and you're, like, on a backcourt somewhere and there aren't people watching and you make that call, you get away, like, dude, you know,
Everyone's watching it. Yeah.
dude, this is being played on TV, correct? Like, you understand everybody on TV is going to see that. Maybe you're not thinking like that in the moment. It just seems like, I don't know. I don't know how you could not just be
was a
like,
tough one.
no. Sorry, that just... Honestly, even if you weren't a fucking backcourt,
Yeah.
you know what happened.
still-
That's
yeah, you
that's
know
the whole
the-
the whole sport is based off at some point you're calling. You don't have someone else calling. You're making these calls for yourself. Yeah. Like it's based off
you don't want
you
that
being
point.
your own umpire. You don't.
Yeah.
You didn't win the point. You didn't win the point.
Yeah.
You know you didn't
Yeah.
win the point.
You don't want it.
No.
You might feel
It's
like you
not
wanna-
yours.
Yeah.
Never mind. You don't want it. It's not yours. You just lost the point.
Oh, he wanted it, and he
Oh,
won.
he got dude. That was a $40,000
I was gonna
whatever
say,
it was.
he just, his checkbook.
I take all that back. You want to know
40
what?
grand.
I'll tell you what. You put 40 grand on a point, and I might. I'm like, no, I got there in one bounce.
It's like that guy who
It
told
looked
us
like
in
three.
college, hit your racket behind the baseline.
No, you hit my foot.
Yeah.
Hit my foot. I was really hungover. I needed to get off that court. I was out of bounds, so technically he did miss it. It's just.
Was that your match point? Credit to you for getting the match point when you're hungover, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I hit your foot. It did not.
No, it didn't.
I'm giving Draper a hard time. Christ.
Hey, the other one, did you see? That was a bit of a shitty situation with Tsitsipas and his dad. That's like when.
Again?
Well, no, I'm talking
Again.
about like when. Yeah. But no, he was saying some weird stuff in the press, like it's not the first time he's doing this. I'm done, like because I think they're done, right, working together.
They are.
They should be.
But yeah, but it was some weird stuff. Like when he split, he kind of fired his dad. I'm not sure how much you guys know about it, heard, but there was like some bad press there.
Like what?
He was talking shit about his dad. Like, come on, man. Like, just keep it quiet. Don't need to go to a press conference and tell him how your dad hurt your feelings.
Well,
Maybe
what
you
was
do.
he saying? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
his dad was his coach.
Bad
Yeah.
relationship, those two.
Oh, that's
It's a
Yeah.
volatile one,
that's
but
a bad thing right off the bat.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Having a family member be your coach.
It was some weird stuff.
Dad.
And
being
the other one
coach.
is actually I don't know much about because I couldn't. Actually, Ryan McGuire told me about this, and I had to look into it. Rybakina, shifting to the ladies, that she split with her coach, but I guess that guy was abusive or that type of stuff. There was some, but then she said other people were accusing him, not abusive, like verbally abusive, and to her, and but now Ivanisevic is actually going to
Coach him now?
coach her, Rybakina.
Coach her. I thought you meant
No, Rybakina.
Titsy.
Yeah, Tsitsi.
Who was he coaching before?
Djokovic.
For a while or
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time. And yeah, so but Rybakina had she's good, man. She just had she didn't play much for the last little bit because she needed a little bit of a break too. And she played a year end. That was last week. Coco Gauff won that
Coco
one.
won it.
Yeah. Rida
She took down Sabalenka
in the semis,
in the
right?
semis.
And she beat Queen Wen in the final in 3 sets.
Final.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
here
for
it
her.
is. He
Yeah.
when he lost to Nishikori
Tsitsipas
in
in Montreal.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fired his dad as a coach after telling him to leave his seat while he was losing in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
I feel like they've always had a bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, he had some comments after that.
But then he told everyone that his father coaching him was his reason that his career's gone stagnant and he struggled with his forehand. But then the next day he came back out and said he would remain traveling with him, but just wouldn't be his coach. And his dad didn't travel with him the next tournament. He's like, I'm not going with you.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't want to be your travel
I will
buddy.
look at Badosa too, Paula Badosa. I mean, that's a reason for him to be a little tired, you know. And his forehand misfiring. I mean, that's it's okay, buddy. We can understand that.
Even that was like one of those spotlight relationships.
Yeah.
He enjoys a little bit. I think he was likes drama a little bit. I think he likes
Of course,
the
dude.
media
He's
being
of
on
course. A lot of those guys, man, they rip the benefits of the sport getting so big because of Fed, Nadal, Djokovic, and all that, and now they're in a spotlight so easy. I mean, so many of those guys are like just millionaires for not winning really much. They're not winning Grand Slams or anything like that. Like, you compare their earnings with like a McEnroe or Courier or something. Those guys like really won stuff. Those guys are like blowing out of the because the sport is so much bigger now.
Yeah.
You know, so the market is that much bigger, and they get the benefits out. I was thinking about the other day, man, it should be some sort of like percentage of each player that gets something out of the sport. You know, some sort of, because those tournaments make a lot of money. Hey, while you're searching, can you tell me on that Six Kings what was the prize money? Because that was insane. You know about Six Kings?
Was that the,
So the Saudis got Alcaraz, Sinner, Djokovic, Nadal, I think, right?
Yeah, they had
probably Medvedev and
Medvedev.
Rune. Yeah, Rune was the sixth.
Yeah.
So they did this like non-sanctioned thing, but what did they pay him?
$6 million.
Which
was more than any women's event on tour will win for an exhibition.
$6 million.
Wow.
They asked those guys, like, did you do it for the money? I'm like, they're like,
Well, of course.
Why not?
I was like, yeah.
$6 million.
Yeah. What would you, yeah.
It's a lot of cash.
They're like, no, we're just looking to go to Saudi Arabia for a week
For fun.
vacation. Yeah.
Like the desert.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous there.
Good tan.
Yeah.
$6 million.
For like, how many matches they played?
What did they
4
play? I was
matches?
just going to say, what did they play?
There's only 6 of them.
When was that?
Not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. They did this whole thing on it. I think it's one of those things that
I don't even understand how, like, I don't know. That's a lot of money to just shell out for what's, I don't know. Why are they so interested in
image?
Why are they so interested in shelling out that much money to get those guys to come play a tournament?
Image, because now they're
It's that big golf stuff.
they're partnering up with
Yeah. They want to get part of it.
Well, they are. If you see it PIF, you see it
They want a
everywhere. They're basically partnering up with the ATP now. So there's public investment fund?
Yeah, I think
PIF,
so.
yeah. And it's basically they're sponsoring now. They're taking over the tour.
Yeah.
In a way. And I think that's a bit of an image. Yeah.
They got
Those-
a lot of money. Those
Yeah,
guys.
For those guys,
Down
that's
there.
nothing, man.
Yeah, their payouts for when they did it for golf were insane.
It's crazy.
They were giving
Yeah,
guys
I
huge
guess I remember
contracts,
hearing that about
private
that.
jets, with parties on them all over the place. I think they're just trying to get in that world, like golf and tennis. Bring your
Soccer
stuff
too,
over
dude.
here,
They got-
F1.
They got soccer, right?
Yeah.
They got soccer. They got Ronaldo there. They
Yep.
got Neymar. They got all
Yeah.
those stars. They get him there. They try to. They pay him.
Yeah,
like
didn't
a
we talk
shitload of
about
money.
that guy that
He said
turned
no to
down-
$1 billion.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Mbappe.
Mbappe. He
Mbappe.
turned it down. And you're like, I wouldn't turn it down.
I still would.
You're not Mbappe.
Yeah.
I just said I would cheat for 40 grand. You know, $1 billion? You know what I'm doing for $1 billion? Give me a break. Holy moly.
Let's stick with the ladies a little bit. So year number 1 is Sabalenka. I think she took it over like right before that Redact tournament, and she took it from Swiatek. So Sabalenka and Sinner number 1s for the season. Sinner went big lead there, and I think that's gonna be interesting on the women's side too. Pegula had a good fall, right? She's gonna have she won. I think she won. Canada final in Cincy and final to US Open, right? She was in the final against Sabalenka at the US Open.
She had some good runs, yeah.
Yeah.
Even Navarro
I'm a fan, man. She's
playing really well. She's solid.
so athletic.
Yeah.
So athletic. Yeah. That was actually some matches that I'm like, it's good stuff. And you have Muhova, man, who just she can play.
Yeah, she can
I'm
play.
a fan
She's
of,
got a nice
of
variety on
her
her
style,
game.
man. Holy smokes. She comes in, volleys, slices, just she plays like Fed. That's nice. What do you think on this is a small point, but it makes me wonder sometimes, is electronic line calling, does it take the energy out of the court?
I don't know.
It feels like a little empty there.
Yeah.
The court
If
feels a
you
little empty.
just kind of wipe out all the people and it's
Yeah,
2 of them on there.
but also like the energy of like,
The oohs and ahs.
yeah, was it in, was it out? Like,
yeah.
let me
Yeah.
let some frustration out and argue with
See
you.
what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, like, is this the, is this the, but it has to go that way, obviously.
Yeah.
It has to go, because it's a human error. It's natural and
Well,
normal.
those umps have been so ridiculed this past year, especially. Everyone's been calling to fire him and go
Yes, there was
fully
like,
electronic there.
But I mean, to get a little bit of both, they could have kept it the other way instead of it automatically calling it out. If it's sort of in between,
Have players call?
do the review.
Yeah.
Because that still had a little bit of the drama.
oh, I see what it's
You
saying.
see what I mean?
But you have to let the people then.
Still have the judge. Yeah, still have them.
Yeah, I think it's just money. I think it's
Still have
money
them.
for the tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause
You
you
take the line.
a lot of them
judges.
volunteer, so I get that. But you still got to feed them. You still got to
Yep.
clothe them. You still
Yeah.
got to do all of
Just
that. So
take all the line guys out and throw just the main.
So that's why
chair
I think
umpire
that's
in
why
there.
I think that's why it was done. Obviously.
Yeah.
So
And you got to house them and.
weren't
But-
we just talking about the U.S. Open, how much they made?
Oh my god.
So they
man.
can't afford to
I know.
throw this guy
know.
a meal
I
and
know.
a hotel room.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes those things do add to the color of
Well,
the
that's
sport.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll still have ball boys, right? So at least the ball
Yeah.
people will be.
You
rid of
always
that
need
too.
that. You always
Yeah.
need that. You know what I
So
like?
at least there's some people around. You get rid of those four lines people on the court.
No, there's more than that.
It's more than that.
Yeah, 2 singles lines.
You have the
base
service line.
So 4 on each side.
4
Could
and then
be
the service
three,
line guy.
and then the 2 service line. There could have been
No, it's 5. I think it's
because
2.
they rotate around 2, 3. Because they had one in the middle.
Oh, one in the middle too. Yeah.
One in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
to
yeah,
call
yeah.
the center line. So 3, 2.
No, one. That guy moves.
Some they had him stay.
Some have him stay.
Yeah. In the major.
I guess you're
Because
losing a
sometimes
decent
that guy
amount.
was moving
Could've
so
been
fast. A couple of them were falling.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
After they call in the middle, and
They
they
run
have
to
to
the
run
side.
over to the side.
You gotta be fast, buddy.
Wait,
The points
The
where they
lines
get in
people?
play.
Yeah. So and the one the serving line one is on the chair. He moves from
Oh yeah.
from game to game. But yeah, those guys from the center line, they have to run really quickly. And the speed of the play sometimes is big, man. They don't make it.
I can't picture that. And then what? Call the
So-
single sideline?
Yeah. So if they were serving to the ad side, Rars
They
would
were
be-
calling the center. They were
Rars
calling the
would be-
serve wide or
Rars-
not.
Rars would be on the wide in the alley. I'd be on the center.
Yep.
And then once the serve went,
Move
I'd
to the
run
other
all the way
side.
over to the other side.
Ooh, that is a lot of action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some
You
of
better
them have
hope.
all
You
three.
better hope there's not a serve and volleyer.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah,
you
you're
gotta
like,
be
whoa.
fast.
Fuck. I wish this guy would
Hey,
serve
man.
and stay back occasionally.
But if you fall during the point, then they have to redo the point. The guy is like,
Yeah, I've seen that. There's a clip I've seen
yeah,
on
they
like
fall.
Instagram. It's actually of the ball boy. He like you ever see it's. I feel like I've seen it a million times. It always pops up. He like tosses a ball
The
to
US Open
someone
one.
and then turns around and run.
Face
And-
plants.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
just gets one of those like foot drags right close to the wall where it just stumbles him, and he just face plants, and he's so good. He just hits
He
and
acts
like
like
turns
nothing
around.
happened.
The
kids
kids
are
are
like-
like, dude, you just smashed your face. You can check yourself. It's okay. Just turn. Yeah, yeah. Who's ever serving? Like actually,
He
kinda
looks at him, he's
stops
like-
and looks, and it's like,
yeah.
That's awesome.
are there
Those
no
kids are-
are there no line judges at all?
And a lot of the
A
tournaments.
lot of
no
the
more.
tournaments are all gone.
I mean, by the way, that does make sense, but
Takes
saying
the
the
energy
vibe.
out of
I-
it.
The vibe on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much energy is that person bringing?
No, but I'm saying like you can argue with them. They make the
Yeah.
call.
Oh,
It
yeah.
adds a little bit of a color to it.
Well, it can add some drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like,
Yeah.
no, we got it.
I think we've talked about this before, but what a high, dude, that's a high pressure job. You know, you are on edge the entire,
whole
every time someone's hitting a ball, you're just like,
Imagine you forget to score up there.
we're just coming
That's how
close to
much-
the line. It's coming close to the line. And like, it's so fast. You'd be like on edge.
No,
You got to be
here's the thing.
really.
How often they check their eyes? That's the main thing they need to have. They have like eye checks before every tournament. If you don't make the cut, because you gotta have them. Your eyes are what
Yeah.
they need.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, bad
Good
eye.
point.
Have you ever noticed any when they had him on the court? Anyone wearing glasses?
Yeah.
No, because
Check that out.
right
I
off the
did.
bat, if I was playing, right off the bat, if they made a call, I'd be like, wait a minute.
Why is he
I'd
wearing
be like,
glasses?
already.
Get him out. Have you seen one
I'm
with
not
glasses?
sure. I just,
It's the one that Serena blew up at. She had glasses. That poor lady.
Well,
right
Ever
off the
since.
go.
Yeah.
You want to know what? Yeah.
I'm gonna shove this
Take
ball
'em off.
Yeah.
I shove these glasses down your throat. Yeah.
Something like that, right? She said something like really. Yeah, that was rough.
Definitely the ball, but yeah.
Oh, the speed is just so fast, dude. How do you know where to be ready to look, you know?
How about?
I mean, I guess like anything, you do it enough times and you're just a little more on. But by the way, you better be. I would make so many.
What if you
I would
daydream
have
and you
so
just say-
many. I just have false calls. I'd be afraid. I'd be like, oh, I'd be like, no, it's actually. I'm just trying to stay ahead of it. There'd be. We'd have a lot of lets. They'd be like, this guy.
Oh, you wouldn't last.
No.
Not one game.
No way.
No.
I want to change.
You'll be the first substitution. There's like
Yeah.
a jury. Like
Yeah.
this guy. This
Like,
guy-
sorry.
Nope.
I'll be selling popcorn by the men's room on the third floor. See you there.
I still want to be involved somehow, but
The machines do. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's too fast of a sport to have human eye call it. Not only is it too fast of a sport, we're talking about a game where, like, dude, a ball can be just wide, wide. You know, moving 130 miles an hour, and you got to make the call. No way.
yeah. They,
No way.
did you hear about the latest one? I think Kirk told me about it today. That John Wertheim, he thought he was mic'd. He thought he wasn't mic'd.
Uh-oh.
And he made a comment about
Oh,
Krejcikova.
yes. I saw this whole article. I read it.
Tell us about it, Larry.
Oh, my God. They were talking about how she looked.
About her forehead. No, this
Yeah,
be
her forehead. Yeah.
What is he a Sports
had a-
Illustrated
He had,
guy
yeah,
or
he
used to
did-
be?
He
Or?
forgot he was mic'd up, and he commented on her
her forehead is as big as
large
mine or something.
forehead. Insert foot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hot mics.
Yeah.
Oh, she was pissed.
I know, right? She was like,
She fired back at him
yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate because he probably didn't mean anything by it. He's probably just kind of joking with whoever
Yeah.
he's talking with. And we've all said some unfortunate stuff, but we're not mic'd.
Everybody's listening.
Dude, I know. You got to be
But here's the other
really
thing.
careful.
He's also in a corporate setting there. This is not. It's not a podcast.
Yeah.
It's not a like.
Yeah.
Those jamokes are talking about it. No, it's
Right.
just he's in this thing that he has to apologize. He's on probation now. Poor guy. He's actually good. I like. I enjoy
What she
him.
looks like, don't you?
Yeah, I'm wondering
Sean, bring her.
I was like, what's that forehead look like?
what a
I never looked at her
what a
forehead.
funny thing
Yeah.
to go after though. That's why I'm kind of curious to see what a forehead looks like.
I better see another.
What a funny thing out of every. It'd be like, it's a lot of forehead.
I better see Peyton Manning's sister come up here.
Wait, is that what he said?
No.
Oh,
Peyton Manning's got a
But
big
Peyton
forehead.
Manning has a pretty long forehead too.
Yeah. So that he got in trouble about that. The poor guy, man. Like, that's,
can you imagine that moment where he's like, and then realizes that
yeah.
it's the mic is telling you
crap,
get that
my
you can feel the
That could be a career.
Oh, it could be a career ender.
Yeah. No, it could be like one of those things
Trying
that
to expand it to make it look bigger.
yeah. I mean,
I don't- yeah.
It's a tough
Yeah.
picture there, anyways.
It's definitely a forehead, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was. I saw. I didn't even see what Kirk was telling me this morning, so I didn't see what she said. Didn't realize there was a big,
When did this happen?
like last week. Not, like
Did
recent.
he,
was
did
during
he
the
used
year
to?
end,
Was
right?
he?
Yeah,
Did
last
he
month.
used to? Was he a writer for like Sports
Yeah,
Illustrated?
he does that,
Or
he
something?
does.
What else does he do? I know that
He was
name.
Roddick's sidekick on Serve podcast. I need to take a break right now. Which, by the way, if you have your own podcast and you're free speaking, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
it's fine on a
but
podcast.
its own. No, but Wait, dude, that's owned by the Tennis Channel.
What
Alex
is?
is owned by the Tennis Channel?
I would think so. No,
What is?
Oh, no.
Roddick's podcast.
Is it on the Tennis Channel?
They
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if it plays on there, it could
They
be.
play it on T2, I think, or something. But maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
not.
you could still say what you want to.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I'd be curious to see what exactly because it's not like he.
Did you bring up what he said?
I mean, what did he
John?
say that like I
Yeah,
get?
read it. It's
This is crazy.
it's pretty bad.
Oh, it is.
I don't know
Like
what
verbatim.
provoked this comment, but his comment that got him in trouble is, "What do you think I am?" And then insert her name. Look at that forehead when she walks on the court. So, what did someone chirp like his forehead that he said, "Look at hers." It's kind of a weird thing to refer to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. There's.
Yeah.
But what? So there's backlash on that now.
Big time. He got suspended from, I think he's on, suspension from the Tennis Channel, I think, and
What could be worse? Because now every conversation she has, people are just looking at her, and she's like, "I think they're looking at my forehead." You're like, "No, I'm looking at your eyes. We're talking." It's like they're looking at my forehead.
Eyes are here.
Yeah.
It's a
Lower your eyes.
lower. Yeah.
Yeah. No, now higher them. Weird. Poor dude. I mean,
I know, yeah. It's just
and
like,
by the way, it's even that's weird to see, but
yeah, I know. Like, come on.
right. There you could say some terrible things. That's not exactly terrible, you know.
Larry.
It's her forehead. It's like talking about her elbow. By the way.
Yeah, I know. I would have said, like, I meant as a compliment.
Right.
Who's to say
Yeah,
there was
her forehead is striking.
Yeah.
I find her forehead striking.
Yeah, I'm into forehead.
I wish I had. Yeah.
I meant her forehand.
Yeah. Leave me alone. Am I not allowed to be into foreheads? Everyone's like, well, want to know what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't be. Yeah,
Yeah. Where are my forehead people at?
yeah.
I'm just staring at your forehead right
Dude,
now.
I got a ton of it. I'm all forehead. I'm all forehead.
Sorry.
Forehead starts at my chin. It goes all the way to the back of my shoulders. Dude.
Take my eyes off it right now.
It's beautiful. Larry, tell us about nationals, buddy.
Oh, you're
Larry
bringing
made the
that up.
nationals. By the way, did you hear this? I didn't talk to you about this. So in nationals, what's this thinking here? And I'm not sure if it's right or wrong. I'm just still trying to process it. So tell us how you did. Let's start with that.
Okay. Our 55 and over team made it to nationals, and we went out to Scottsdale, Arizona, and we finished 5th out of 15 teams. Couple court matches away from making top 4, making to the semis and the finals.
15 teams down there.
Yeah.
Which you wonder, like, if you keep backing up, where does? I wonder what that starts at.
I should have brought.
It's a lot of teams. It's a lot
the
of
stats.
It's a lot of teams.
There was like over like could be like 1,400, 1,500 players.
Wow. That's big, man.
Close to 500 teams.
Yeah.
Whittle it down to 15 teams.
Yeah,
It's
that's
impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah, so I mean, we went 3-1 in round robin, and we needed some help, and that's why we didn't make it to the top 4.
So hear this out. I could be wrong, so just correct me. It's not the groups, it's random. They pick random out of 15 teams there who you're playing.
Yeah, they changed it because some regions complained, like, how did you put me with Florida,
Of course.
Southwest,
Right.
and
no,
that?
that's not true. There's no way it's
No,
like
so
that.
what they do now
Yeah,
is
dude, that's what they're doing now.
They randomly give you 4 matches.
Yeah.
You're not in a group.
Isn't that weird?
You randomly get 4 matches,
Because
and then the top
Why?
4 records.
Not
out of-
based on anything
Correct, that's what
else
I'm
coming
saying.
in where you're doing
Yeah,
that.
they
so you could
changed
play the top 3 teams.
Well,
right.
what we played the team. We played NorCal our first match. They went 11-1 in their 4 matches, and we lost to them 3-0. So that put us sort of behind the 8 ball, and then now we had to.
Why would they
climb
do
up
it
from
like
that.
that, do you think?
Because some people complain, like, what's your algorithm on putting these 4 teams
but
together?
that doesn't solve the problem.
So now
man.
they just supposedly pick it out of a hat.
But how does that solve the problem? It's
No,
not a
I
problem.
know.
Now you just take the responsibility out of your hands. That's what you do. You're not solving
Correct.
the problem. You're like, well, I'm not picking.
Yeah.
You guys are playing. No, just make whatever your record is. Make something.
Yeah, there
Make
should be
something and make
some
three
type
groups.
of standard how people are put together.
Well,
Even if you didn't agree with it,
That's fine.
it would
This is
at
what we
least-
go by.
At least you'd be like, no, this is the way we do it.
Sets, one matches, whatever you did.
Yeah.
Take it a year, take it 6 months. Like,
yeah. Typically, the changes are made from like a lower level. Guarantee you, it was like a 3-0 team saying, "I can't believe I had to play against Texas. Why was
but
I
isn't
put
that
there?"
weird? Don't you feel that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
instead
take
of
it out.
have 15, take 3 groups. If you're gonna do 4 matches, 3 groups of 5, play everybody, and then you get 3 winners, and then you have the 4th best record.
Yeah. Everyone knows the warm weather states are sandbaggers anyways. Not even sandbaggers.
Yeah.
They're very strong. So
Oh.
those guys should have a weighted average above, the Midwest.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, I'm a little biased in this, but a lot of the regions take care of themselves. And case in point, Mike and I, our first opponent, we played the number 2 55s player in the nation, and he was ranked a 4-5. You can't have that. Guy was pretty nasty too.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's weird. It's different regions do different things, and just people
it's
aren't.
not universal how they do stuff.
It's not universal. It's not at all. But
Well, 5th is good, man. Cheers to you on that.
thank you. It was good. Shout out to my team. Good boys.
Fun trip.
Great trip.
Nationals are fun. Get to nationals.
They are fun.
It's fun if you're with the right crew.
I brought Kevin to one.
That's right.
Yeah, was that? I thought I
We
was
finished-
guessing it
we
was.
finished
I was
in
like, a
second
few
place.
years ago, and then you told me it was
17 years ago.
17 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
2007.
Yeah, we got that little. Who did we lose to?
We lost to Hawaii in
Hawaii.
the finals.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys got to the finals. That's right.
Yeah. Second place.
Yeah, I brought that. They gave us that little glass tennis ball.
Yeah.
I brought back home. I'm like, look what I won. My family was like, dude.
Yeah.
I got someone
Eric was
knows
like,
it.
you had to cancel your flight? I had to buy a new flight. I didn't think we were going to get that far. So I had to just miss my flight,
Oh wow.
buy a new one.
All right. Yeah, you want it? Yeah, go take out the trash.
Yeah.
Just-
Came home like, look, though. Look, I have this little glass tennis ball. She's like, yeah. Sick. 17 years. Wow.
Let's shift a little bit quickly to some technical stuff. What would be your top 3 skills that you would tell an adult that's picking up tennis right now to learn? Top 4 skills.
Brand
Somebody
new.
somebody picks up tennis right now. They're like 35. Between whatever, make it 30 and 40, right? Like we have such a big influx of people that are picking up tennis around that age. It's something as a reason for individual development, being challenged, learn something new, all the fun stuff that, right? What would you put technically on it, and then 3 doubles tactical things that you'd be like, look, you need to know those 3 things in your first year and a half.
So for the 3 things, you're talking technical or
There's 3 different,
strategic?
2 different ones.
3 strategic
Technical,
and
3, 4 technical, doesn't need to be a number, right? 3, 4 technical. Like, hey, this is they come first day. Look, I'm committed to this. In a year and a half,
Okay.
I wanna play in a 3-0 league, right?
And then what are the other?
And
3?
then like, whatever, I wanna have the capability of push myself as far as I can push myself. We know you're not gonna get past 3-5, maybe 4-0, if you learn at this age.
Well,
But what would you teach them technically to be able to achieve that? And then when they go in and play, we pick singles or doubles. What would they? Few things they're like, look, you cannot go past this. You cannot not know this.
one has to be the serve.
So technical serve.
Technical serve. You got to learn how to serve. That's
Yeah.
And then the other one is
But no, let's go. Will you go like full on as clean technique as you can, or hack it, get it in? Now you know how to serve. It depends, obviously.
It depends on-
But if
it
you have
depends
somebody you
on-
can work with,
something you
Yeah,
can work on.
yeah.
I would go full in, and then ground stroke, forehand, backhand.
Yeah,
That's the other way you start a point too.
I
Returning.
would say ground stroke almost before serve. Like I would.
obviously they're gonna
take
learn
your
that. I'm
time
just
to
I'm just
develop
talking.
The specifics within
Like
Specifics
stroke.
with
what about it?
Would you go loop? Would you go full semi or eastern? Would you go, pure volley technique? Would you go like full on like leg step
Yeah,
in?
I think that's dependent on the
It is
student,
dependent,
right?
Yeah.
That's you look at they have the aptitude to pick it up.
That's what I'm
Then,
saying.
then,
you have somebody
then
that
I
can do
think
that,
you
yeah.
push it. But as we all know, there's some people that
Oh.
I mean, doesn't
Can just
everyone
make
kinda wanna
contact.
be in a more of a semi-western? Isn't that like?
or modified eastern.
I think
yeah.
even before like you loop or straight back swing, I feel like people benefit kind of from two things. One, which seems pretty simple, but it's not, is just like learning how to take a relaxed swing. Because like most people do, they're so ready to. They're trying so hard. Their arm is so tense that like it gets tweaky. Like learning how to actually think about stuff and execute a swing that has some bit of relaxation into it, I think is actually important. Like when you're first learning it before anything else. And also, I think for a lot of people, swing length makes a difference. Like never mind how you're setting up, this and that. Like the idea of like making contact and then continuing through like a couple balls after that, just learning how to like let your arms like extend out and through, and you end up hitting some of the other points when you like fully release through. And once your arm is fully extended, you almost can't help but not follow through. So before you crowd it with all these other things and this and that, like to me, that's like something that you can give someone a tip right away before you even change anything else. And you just, someone who's even played a little bit, you just encourage them to like actually swing through the ball and kind of stay forward through it longer. All of a sudden they hit one and they're like, ooh, that felt a little better. Everyone is like up and
Focus on
off
the motion
it
versus
so
the impact.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think most people are unaware, like if you're just trying to hit it, again, if you're trying to make a ball dip or do something else, forget it. But if you're trying to stand in a baseline and hit a ball deep to another baseline, I think a lot of people they're working so hard to control it rather than just like actually letting it go and trusting it and realizing like how long your swing length actually is through the ball.
Correct.
I truly believe that it's it's a perception. Sometimes, like, I don't want to say error, but problem in a way that in reality you're creating a motion that creates a certain energy that gets distributed from your body through the racket into the ball, and that energy we can't see, but it comes from a certain motion,
Right.
not from the impact on the ball. Impact with the ball is not the most important thing. What you do before is what you do after.
Yeah, you're trying to create a swing and hope
It's a
that the
swing
ball
that
is
creates-
you
that
can
creates a-
line that swing up with the ball.
Correctly.
Yeah.
Create a certain motion that creates a certain energy that now you insert into that ball, the follow through, and that's what creates the stroke. It's not the racket touching the ball.
Right.
That's the
Well, that's why it's like two pieces. You can learn the correct technique, but then you have to learn to get in the correct position.
Everything
so that
around it.
Otherwise, you're chasing a ball. And once you're chasing a ball, now your swing is automatically compromised. Because if you're a little too close, a little too far away, now you've done like learn it standing still, and then you learn how to move it. And then that swing that you're taking, you can put yourself in the right spot where you can now just take that swing that you want, and it's like you hit the cleanest ball you felt you've ever hit.
Yep.
Yeah. Toronto, what do you got?
I think I'd say 3 to be able to progress within a year and a half. Your movement, depending on who you get. If you get a brand new beginner that doesn't really know how to move.
Hold that
hasn't
thought.
played-
Larry's got to go. All right, Lara. Thank you,
Sorry,
buddy.
Boys.
That was fun.
Later, Lar.
That's good.
Pick up.
Oh, there you go.
She wants to walk home.
Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
All right. I mean, if we're talking, somewhat athletic background, but doesn't
it's all
really
about
take
that,
to
right?
tennis movement, spacing, and point of contact. We can take your swing, and it could be as ugly as it needs to be, but you can still consistently win. I think if you can get those three things down in tandem, which, like Kev just said, just like put yourself in a good spot to succeed. And I think a lot of people, the movement is probably the hardest part in tandem with the spacing, but like point of contact right off the bat in terms of, first lesson I get with a beginner, I break it down. You've got your height and you've got the relation to your feet. And you've got to be able to kind of put that ball in a good window for you to make a good swing, or else if you're hitting the ball too high, you're hitting the ball too low. No matter what I do with your swing, we can't work on it because now we're adapting it to where we don't want that ball
chasing it
to be. And, they can bunt it a little bit. You don't want that to happen, but they can kind of get through. And once they find that spot, now their swing, after they've gotten themselves in the right spot, is really kind of easy to start fixing because they can consistently put that ball where they want it. A lot of times, they come in and we start working with their swing and we're feeding the ball to the wheelhouse and it's all good. But as soon as they go to rally, it's like you see a whole different person. And you're like, hold on. Did you not remember the first 30 minutes we spent? Or, as have you not gone out and rally? And a lot of people don't go out and get the rally reps and all that. Even a ball machine, it's coming to your wheelhouse. Most of the time, you kind of set your feet up so that ball is going to come right in to where it is. And I feel like that's the huge barrier for those guys that want to begin playing tennis and by the end of a year and a half become a 3-0 player. It's like, okay, you can have a swing that just drops and comes forward and be pretty successful up into a 3-5 level. You can have kind of a bunty swing as long as you can get yourself in the right spot.
Right.
And then from there, within that spot, you can start to dictate location. You can start to play with height of the ball a little bit before we even make
what's your foundational?
That's so I think movement, spacing, and point of contact.
It's always different. It's always tricky because and people sometimes do want they like to compete, right? So they do that and they cut corners on technique but then there is a certain number of reps where you develop a bad habit.
Yeah,
of course.
And that's 10 times harder to break.
Right.
Under pressure.
Yep.
Right.
And that's like, how can you avoid that? Because
you avoid it by putting in reps the correct way.
The correct way.
That's the whole thing. And that's the beauty of this game.
It's
yeah. I think we take it for granted because we understand it. We teach all the time, but most people don't. Like you hit them 5 different balls at 5 different heights. And they hit those balls at 5 different heights instead of understanding that, like, I can adjust myself so that even though they're at slightly different heights, I'm making contact in the same spot. Which that consistent contact point allows me to have the same setup, the same contact point, the same finish. So that consistency in that swing leads to consistency in my shot. And again, as you get more advanced, maybe learning how to take it on the rise and do other things. But if you're just trying to hit a ground stroke that has a little bit of spin and just a consistent shot back, it takes adjusting yourself so that you're hitting it in the same spot every single time, which that's definitely harder than learning this. Dude, anyone can 100%. You can stand someone, even with not that much athletic skill, toss them 50 balls.
Get them
and after
swing.
50 balls, they're kind of, some happens sooner, some happens less, some looks a little more natural, some doesn't. But after 50 or whatever, they're like, they're doing it. Yeah. Now all of a sudden you rally and you put that ball in a different spot, and the whole thing is gone. Like the hard part is being able to read a ball and figure out where do I need to be when I'm striking this thing, so it's in that exact spot. But isn't that secondary? Like the first thing you got to do is you got to hit enough so you know what it feels like to when it's in that spot. That's what it's like. Teach me what it feels like when it's right, when it all adds up. Tee it up for me enough times so that now I have something to compare it to when it's not, and as I'm hitting, I can slowly figure that out a little bit,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And because I always like, look at it like, okay, what's the, I don't want to say the quickest way, it's not a cheat, but what's the best way to bring somebody to a level like we just talked about, to be able to rally, to read, and all that stuff. And on what you guys points there, hitting enough. We did this as kids with no pressure.
Yeah.
our systems were open to learning, right? And I don't remember when I learned to hit high, low ball. I don't remember that. I don't remember when I learned to hit a kick serve. I don't.
Right.
I really don't.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you do it enough and you discover that, right?
Yeah.
But with an adult, which is what we're talking about right now, you have to break through those conscious decisions they make and
Right.
blockades that they have. I can't do this. I can't. The thinking.
Or maybe
So
just thinking how to
Yeah,
do it.
that's
How
a
to
good
do it.
point.
Not
too.
even meaning, but just like,
Oh, I got
if
it.
I'm
yeah.
doing this, it's got to do
Yeah.
like this. You're like,
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it enough reps without pressure? Like a good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the other
It's
tough thing too is, I feel like a lot of people want to get good at tennis, but they don't do the
hardest
legwork
thing to do.
that we did as kids, dude. Every
No.
single time we went through a drill, we were hitting the ladder.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were forced to do conditioning, and all the conditioning movements were all based off like tennis type scenarios where
going
you're
back,
moving
that
this way and that
unfortunately-
way. But no one, I mean, at the age of 30, you're picking up tennis. It's like, are you really going to go to the gym for an hour and a half and work on your dynamic movements and how to move on a tennis court?
through your life.
Yeah.
To be able to pick from that for whatever sport or whatever you've done in your life to bring into
transfer
But
it.
it could be probably the toughest sport that you have done
yeah.
up to that point. Other than hockey, I don't see something else harder to pick up at its age.
No, and
It's funner and challenging,
Right.
but it's very hard.
well, and it's also like, and I see it happening to people here is maybe you pick it up, you're in clinics, and like while you're in clinics, you're developing some of your technique, your body mechanics, your racket mechanics, you're learning all this stuff. But maybe then at some point you're like good enough and you're ready, like you want to jump in some team stuff. Of course. Which is good because now in the team maybe you're getting some strategy stuff that you're not picking up things. But at some point you're all playing matches.
Nerves.
And then when you're playing matches and you're still, you haven't hit that number of reps yet where your technique is like solid and based in, but you're in a situation where you need to win points, and very quickly winning points becomes more important than anything else, which by the way, when you're on the court, if you're playing, it should be that, but now you have a force fighting what, like, you know, again, when you're in a clinic and you're just rallying at a cone with no pressure and someone standing behind you being like, turn, set up, relax your wrist, do this. You're like, oh, this game
boom,
is
boom,
easy.
boom,
Now all of a sudden your partner's like, it's 30 all, 5-4, don't miss this. And you're like, ah, and like now, like you're getting actually further away
where
from
you
what
were.
what you're trying to do. You can see people like they're at a certain level and they jump into the team and they'll play for a little bit, and a lot of times after they'll come in, they're like I've had some my strategy is better. This and they're like, I need to actually spend a little bit of time on some fundamentals.
And you see
again
that, right? You see
because
that coming back when they realize that
100%,
later on.
Well, look,
Yeah.
the only way you can implement those strategies is to be able to hit certain shots, and the only way you hit
And you're
those
limited.
certain shots with any type of quality is to have the technique be strong enough so that you can. It's easy enough to say like, well, this is what you need to do. Well, yeah, in order to do that, you need to hit these shots. In order to hit those shots with quality, there needs to be a certain amount of technique. So you can like almost get ahead of yourself, and then you have to come back and maybe backtrack, and maybe that's the course you have to take a little bit to get there. Because who wants to spend enough time as an adult? Like maybe you want to spend 5 years developing stuff before you're ready to play your first match?
Correct. Yeah.
No, you know.
The way I look at it is, you go to a mountain, and it's different peaks. And you see that big peak there? That's a 4 or 5 peak, 5-0 peak. You're never gonna get there. Let's look at the other ones.
Right, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Mountain's too high.
Yeah, too high.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right now, you might want to climb this like 2-5-3-0 peak, but it's just with the tools that you just got there. This is as far as you're gonna go.
Right,
That 3-5 peak requires it, so you got to come back down.
right,
You got to work a little bit harder,
right. Yeah.
change some stuff up, climb this peak, or work harder. Don't even climb the 3-5 peak. Work harder enough, put enough work, then you can open the door to get to that 4-0 peak. That's
Yeah.
where we're gonna end.
Yeah.
If you're starting at 25-30. But it's so important to just put in that work, and people do, like I said, realize that you hit enough walls in your matches,
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, I need to have a capability. Those guys are covering all of my shots. I'm going left and right. I need to have something else. Well, next thing is spin.
Right.
Spin variation. Do you have any?
Right.
No. Well, that's when you need to work on that. Or like speed variation, whatever it is.
Isn't spin a big breakthrough?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You know, like before you can hit with any spin, you have like you have like a collision with the ball.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
best way
it's
to
like
put it,
this
yeah.
violent, like it's on and off your strings, and you don't even really know what's gonna. When you're having a collision, you're working so hard to barely try to control how it comes off your strings, and then eventually you learn like you can actually
Wait a second,
You
I
can
can
get
do
under
stuff,
it, up
yeah.
the back. You can over the top. You know, you can like grab a hold of it.
Yeah.
There's that moment where, like, to me, that's why it's like getting people to just relax a little bit. Sometimes they do that naturally, you know, and it's fun when someone, for like the first time they hit one and they can feel and they're like, whoa. And that
just
ball has
happens,
a little bit of
You create a different motion. You
arc to it. All of
create
a
magic.
sudden, yeah,
It's magic.
It's a different.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's something we take for granted, knowing how to hit a tennis ball.
Yeah.
I guess we probably don't because we're teaching it enough. But people that, before you learn how to do that, you have no concept that, like, you can make contact with the ball and treat it like that. It just seems like it's I hit it and it's on and off my
It's a
strings.
contact,
Like hitting, you know, I don't know, baseball.
Yeah.
Again, I struck out every time I hit that, so I never even really hit one. But like, it's just it's like dead contact
just
as
goes
opposed to
flying,
like like really holding a ball in your strings.
Yeah.
You know.
It's technique is a big one, and then applying it, it's a completely different animal in a pressure situation too.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the big
tough. A
one,
lot of
right?
people's goals. It's like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be
yeah.
a 3-5 rallier, or do you want to be a 3-0
Which is-
tennis player?
which is
'Cause
okay.
Some people just want to
Yeah.
be able to hit ground strokes and go out there with their friends and bang ground strokes around, but then you put them in a match and they can't beat a 2-5
Yeah.
because they just don't know
Yeah.
how to play a match. And they're like, oh, I'm good. I can hit with this person and that person. It's like, yeah, you can go out and hit a tennis ball with them, but when push
Sometimes
comes to shove, your level's going to drop a little bit, and they're going to know
Right.
exactly how to expose you, and that's
Right.
the huge gap
Yeah.
in that sport.
Yeah.
Well, some people are just competitors too. They just
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Just have this uncanny way of
Winning.
which, like, yeah, which can be frustrating if you're out there trying to do all the right things, but you got someone on the other side who's just like, you know,
Pinball wizard, baby.
it's like doing, your crazy stuff, but just knows how to get the ball back
Tactically,
or knows how to just all at the right time sneak up and put a volley away.
Yeah, they read
It's
they
like
saw
you just-
enough, and they know your body language. When you go across court, they're gonna poach on you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So on that, like I would put going to that, I would put movement, like you said, definitely big one. But movement through trial and error. Just go for this ball. Let's see where
Sink
you're
or
at.
swim.
Yes.
Get out there and hit.
Just
Yeah.
and you know one
Which
thing
is kind of like eventually it
we all have done
does
that.
become.
Yeah,
It,
you find it.
yeah.
Find it.
You do find it. You do find it.
The wall, man. Did you guys hit the wall as a little kid?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think that's a lost tool. It's a lost tool because of space.
Maybe. I did for the club I grew up at when I did it. I would do it for hours.
We couldn't get on
I
the courts
loved
until we
hitting
hit.
off the.
I loved it too.
hitting off. Yeah.
We come to practice, 100 forehands to the wall, 100 backhands to the wall, and then you pick your next. I was doing
And
drop
once
shots.
you get to an age, like or not an age, at level, even at a young age where you can control it,
Oh,
you
it's
can go all
fun.
day. Like if you can't control it, that thing is hitting. It's like
Yeah.
it can be crazy. But once you know how to strike it, so that ball
Yeah.
can come back, you don't even end up having to
anyone
move that
listening
much.
this, you
just
can
stand-
try a wall. Try it for like half an hour. Don't
Yeah.
do 5 minutes. It's don't do 5
No.
because you're gonna get frustrated.
Yeah.
But after
There
a
is
while,
that moment. Yeah.
but it's
you
not that
just-
much around because you go to those clubs. They had a wall, but now they made it a pickleball court because it's enough, or they made it it's not that many that have that anymore.
No,
We're
a lot
not
of walls
using
are
it.
pickleball courts.
Are there not backboards around anymore?
But do
No.
you? What do you see him? I don't see him.
Patton Park has one. Patton
that's
Park
good.
may be the only one.
That's amazing.
still
dude.
has a
That's one of the
wall.
biggest tools.
Yeah.
I want to put one in my house, like to be able to roll out, like in front of my garage, and hit even for myself. If I want to go
Right.
and get a 20-minute workout, man, that's amazing.
Ugh, I don't want to run into you after you've been tuning up on the wall for 20 minutes. That's the last thing I need.
Isn't the wall like
fed over
This guy
COVID
rolling
was
the
hitting against the
contract,
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but that's the wall is like you don't think of it like that, but it's like a ball machine, but it's more of a live feedback for what.
Well,
he hit.
there's definitely, dude,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It can, if you can't strike the ball right and hit it at the same line, it comes off that thing wonky, and now you're chasing it. But you can eventually, at a certain level, like,
and it feels
you can
good.
just roll in, and now you're in like
This
a
groove.
groove, yeah, where you're like, you get a good rhythm going, where you're just like, you could go all day on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wall is a lost tool. I don't think. That's a. Remember we used to do the 10s. We used to have them to the wall,
Oh yeah, wall ball. They'd
Wall
start.
ball.
They'd
That's
come
what
out
they
and they'd
start.
start. Yeah.
and those 10s actually became all good players.
Right.
All that generation. It
Right.
wasn't just that, but it's just
No.
I'm saying those.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah. No doubles. Soccer 3-5, 3-0 to 3-5, 3-0 to 4 doubles. 3-4 tactical must that you need to have as a doubles team.
I'm gonna
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go back to Wall for 1 second because this is like just outside my top 3, but I think it's really important for people to know, technique wise, is how to control your swing. There are so many people that go out there and just swing at 100%, and they've never swung at 40%, and just as you said earlier, just felt your swing like hit a moon, not even a moon ball, just hit a slow shot where you're coming through. And I think the wall is great for that because when you try and rip the ball against the wall, that ball comes back fast.
Right. You take it in the forehead.
And people usually just are like, oh, I'm going to back way up. And now all of a sudden the ball's bounced at their feet. But it's like, take a nice, slow, controlled swing. Try almost like you're not even trying to hit that ball over the net and just feel that really long swing to be able to play at 40% and 50, 60, 70 and start ramping it up. There's so many people out there, even at a good level now, that you ask them to slow their swing down, and they can't.
They don't even.
It's almost they don't even.
It's like they hit a good ball, but they can't slow their swing down, so they have no idea what's going on. They just know it's good.
Or know how to swing it down and remain free.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, once you ask someone to slow down, they slow it down, and now it's a locked up swing. Do you know what I mean? You're like, well, you did slow it down, but like, you should have seen your face. It looked different. You know what I mean? Like, it's learning how to slow down, but there's like have that freedom to it. Yeah. You know, that's a hard
choice
thing to do.
Is not
no, that's a hard thing to do.
It is. Yeah.
Really hard.
All right, back to double strategy.
Yeah, double strategy. 3 things.
What was
4 things.
What level? Any level?
Let's go 3-0 to 2-5. You still worry about the scores and the lines and positioning and all that stuff. So that's which is important. But like 3-0 to 4-0, now you're starting to figure out some things there. And I'll start with so you guys have a little time to. Mine is ability to develop, not even do well, but develop and understand the serve and volley.
Of course, dude. Yeah.
In doubles.
Yeah.
It's a must. Mm-hmm. The second one is the ability
even
to
before you can do it
Be-
successfully.
correct.
You don't even
Just-
have to do it
just plant-
successfully.
plant
you
the
just have
seed.
to, yes.
Plant
You
the
just
seed.
have to do it.
The second one is develop your ability to think and act like you're the most aggressive player on the court when you're the service partner. So much of that is like
or net player at all.
that player at all.
Just
Yeah,
be
exactly.
ready
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
ball.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the third one is pretty simple. There, just work on your 3 returns.
Yeah. And
Cross court, down the
yeah.
line lob. Work on that.
Yeah, and I'd say for the down the line drive or lob, understand that it's so funny. It's a certain level. You ask someone to go down the line, and they're just trying to pipe them
Correct.
down the line so hard.
I know.
Like, trying to which I always ask people. I'm like, when you're going cross court, someone hits a serve to you. It's you're entering the point. You're going cross court. How often are you trying to hit a winner? And they're like, I'm not. I'm just trying to get it back cross court.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Just do that.
why are you trying to do that? Like, there's a net person there, so I got to hit him. Like, how do you know they can volley?
Yeah.
Or hit me, keep it lower. Have a little bit of quality to it, but it doesn't need to be a winner. That idea of like having different options on your return that are still challenging, but get you into the point. I think when people try to go down the line or lob, they assume they got to rip it down the line, or they're trying to hit a lob. They are trying to like bury it in the corner. Instead of just let me make this guy back up 3 steps. And after 3 steps, I'm not really even going to be afraid of them hitting an overhead.
Yeah.
But there's so much space behind this player. Let me see what it looks like when I start a point like that, like different entries into the point rather than feeling like all of a sudden I have to force an outcome.
Correct.
You know?
It's almost like that subconscious feeling that you have to hit a perfect shot down the line. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Just test them out first.
Right. Right.
Just see what they can do. They don't have a perfect player on the other side. You know.
Right. Don't you think it's like we run practices and they know when the net player knows what's coming and the returner goes down the line, they don't even hit these great shots and they see the volleys missed. It's like such a good lesson for the returners because they're like, they knew it was coming. And I watched you hit the return and I heard you groan about it, but the ball didn't come back, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, I think we've talked about this before, but that's like, to me, you got to really own that as a tennis player real early is understanding that, like, just because you don't hit what on your scale of what your best shot is, just because you don't hit that doesn't mean you haven't effectively challenged who's across. You have no idea what's going on.
You're not playing a perfect player.
Dude. And they may too. They may be having how do you know they're not had just had a conversation like, where's my grip supposed to be on my backhand again? And you just hit a wonky ball, but it's going to their backhand. It doesn't matter now that you didn't challenge them. They're already in their own mind about it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would say. The psychological factor there too, because you're telling them, I'm not going to try to go by you. I'm going to go right at you.
Right.
I'm not afraid of you.
Right.
Like when you're returning there. That's not a thing that it's good. Be safe, go cross court and all that stuff. Sure. You have to. But to me, once every 3-4 times, you got to go down the line. And you'd be fine with losing the point, but you got to be like, hey, I got both.
You got to make it, though.
Yeah.
You got to make
the shot. Yeah.
You got to make it.
Yeah.
Then you have to just make it. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like sometimes, like, no, it's not a dragon there. It's not going to eat the ball.
Right.
Just go, try it. Make it happen.
Yeah, the fear of your opponent always hitting their best shot can force you to do some bad stuff on the tennis court.
Right?
Yep.
Paralyzes you sometimes. You see it.
Right. I'm always asking me, like, how often do you hit your very best shot? And people are, like, honest. They're like, I'm like, all right, well, you're playing, you got someone on the other side of the net who's doing that same thing. But, like, there's kind of a freedom in that when you let go of that and just sort of be like, all right, I have this plan to do this, but my plan's going to be to make it. And obviously there's got to be some
of course
quality to it, but you know,
it's also what you, a lot of times we're talking like percentages, but like it's just 1 point. It's okay if you lose 1 point, try to do the right thing. There's another 99 that you're going to play in a match. Right. If you follow a few like easy, simple concepts, it'll be easier. Before you learn to do an I formation or do, poach on your partner's return, all that stuff, just follow those basic things and you'll see what it takes you. Yeah. Last one. Top errors to avoid in doubles. If we're talking unforced errors, not.
Stop hitting the net player.
Yeah. Honestly.
Stop. Unless you have an intention to take that ball down the line off a return or an overclosed net player, take them out of play. Take them so far out of play. There's so many times those guys get to the most free balls. And like, oh, my God, they're over the net. Oh, that's because we hit it right to them. Don't even hit a great shot. Just get it by them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that next person's going to mess that ball up, or you're going to have a manageable shot.
Or you keep the ball in front of your partner who's up at the net.
Yeah.
That now allows them.
No, they can,
exactly.
It's amazing. Like that idea of like when you can get through to people, like you hit that ball across court, you've now put it in a corner. Your partner is in front of that corner, and now they have so much room to strike. Like what a pressure situation it puts that other baseliner in.
Yeah.
The problem is at some point, at a more beginner level, the volleyers aren't that sure of themselves. So, like, people can be 4 feet behind the baseline and just hit a ball straight ahead. And, like, maybe
you get away with it.
It misses. You get away with it. But, like, very quickly, once someone is a little more sure of themselves on that volley, even if it's not put away, it changes the whole dynamic of the point. You just have so much less time where, like, all of a sudden now you're scrambling a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think second one, defensive balls. Make them play.
Yeah.
The amount of times someone is put under serious defense and they try and hit the perfect shot
I know.
off the back
Again, you
line
think you're
or clean
playing
them.
the perfect opponent.
Just make them hit one more ball.
Yeah.
Make them hit one more ball.
That's it.
There's so many times where they freak out because they get the, even if it's an easy ball, they now feel like they have to do a lot with it. You have to put that ball, when you are under extreme defense, back in play.
To
Yeah.
that
You got to
point,
make them hit it. Even if it's an easy flub shot, make them hit an easy flub shot.
something.
Yeah.
To that point, I always make the point with people that I work with that, look, what tennis is in a competitive setting is I'm trying to get you off balance so you don't hit your perfect shot. You try to get me off balance. So
Right.
I cannot expect to hit my perfectly clean shot every time, or most of the times, really.
Yeah.
I have to do some sort of maneuvering there, do some sort of compromise to hit a shot. So does it need to be perfect? No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, why? Because you did something good. Now I have to work with that. You just tossed a challenge in front of me. The ball comes at a certain speed, a certain spot, a certain height, with a certain spin. I have to answer that challenge in a very short amount of time. Do I have a perfect answer? No.
Right.
You don't.
Right. If you don't miss it, you had an answer.
Yeah.
though.
If I make it over, it's great.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Now in this situation,
anything on
I could
top-
be
yeah.
offensive. I could be if I'm defensive, I got to deal with that.
Right. Now you have a new situation.
Yeah, new situation that I have
Yeah,
to deal
yeah.
with, you know.
Right.
But we're playing live, so now you're challenging me. Now that's the name of the game. It's
Right.
not who's the prettiest shot, and no, it's fine.
It's high school tennis,
Right.
baby.
Or
Yeah.
even being willing
Make another
to,
ball.
like,
Yeah,
and again, you don't want to panic too early, but you don't want to be too stubborn out there, too. Like, you have a million different options.
correct.
You can try anything out there. I've had that conversation. I'm like, after some of my views sometimes, where I'm like, people, you know, it was like 2-2, and maybe it wasn't a great match out there. And it wasn't like they weren't, you're trying very hard, but you're not trying. You just try way different things sometimes. You're playing double starts, both of you back on the baseline.
Yeah, do something.
You can do whatever. Play, I don't know, if you're trying to get something going, hammer every ball for a game. Hit every ball down the line for a game.
Yeah.
Lob every freaking. Do whatever the hell you can do. You can try
the beauty of it,
different.
yeah.
You can try different things, and all of a sudden, maybe something works. You know.
Yeah.
You can lob 15 times, and all of a sudden your opponent's like, "What the hell are these people doing?"
Drain
out
their
here?"
legs. Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. You can. There's so many different things that like. Nothing's wrong.
no,
Nothing's wrong.
That's the beauty
If
of
you're
it.
losing,
Be
it's like if you're
creative.
right and something's working and you change that, like, okay, maybe not right. But if you're down, and not just again by a game or so, and you're just it's like fighting, keep doing what you're doing. Like sometimes it's not going your way. At that point, there's no wrong choices.
No.
I mean, except doing the same goddamn
Yeah.
losing
Over
the
and
same
over.
point over and over again.
That's
That's like, and it's totally frustrating. At least trying different things. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, geez, that didn't work either.
Yeah.
you know, but like,
But you enter this creative mode. You enter this fun mode when you're playing a game. It's not you just hey, let me try this. I
Right.
tried that.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
Never know. I always talk about. I had this match a while ago. I was talking to this guy. It was college. It was a college day. I was out of college. Huh?
That's so funny. That no.
No. Go ahead.
No.
And I was not winning. It was just. But all of a sudden, I hit a slice to his backhand, like a couple of slices in a row. And this guy was pigeon toe, and somehow I realized that his knees were. He was not pushing well off that, so he was slower coming off a slice in the ground stroke.
Yeah.
So then, that was the play: slice to the backhand, wait, and then boom, heavy forehand cross court. So his recovery time was slower.
Oh my God.
It's like you just find that because you go in this banging battle. He was winning it. I'm like, let me keep it low there a little bit, and it was just a harder way to come up. So
The guy hated his genetics.
Yeah.
He's like, my fucking dad. Fucking pigeon toed. He's passed it on to me.
yeah. Anyways, yeah.
That takes like I don't know. All that takes experience though.
Correct,
Some
to
of
see
it is
those
only
things, yeah.
like
Yeah.
because you can think you're doing the right thing, right? You're like, no, I've been told to do this. I'm trying to do that. Like, think outside of the box like that. I don't know. That takes
yeah. No, yeah.
a lot.
I'm saying
a
just trying
lot.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just break it down just like a slice.
Yeah.
Everything I do stinks, slice. Just
Right.
chip everything.
Try it.
See what it does.
Yeah.
Slice everything. Keep it low.
I think slicing a ball is one of those things when people see it, like at a, before you know how to do it, you think it's like this,
nice
like
and
you think
easy.
it's like, yeah, but people can learn that fairly. I think they think it's some like wizardry, and when the way they want to do it, they're like,
is.
and you're like, no, I see, you put them in the right grip, they come at the right angle on the ball, they kind of keep it simple, like, and you can kind of hit a ball that's got a little bit of underspin on it very, very quickly. If you can hit a volley, you can learn how to slice. If you can hit a volley the correct way, a little bit, people already know how to volley. I'm like, dude, if you can hit a volley, you can hit a slice. Volley it off the bounce, basically.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Exaggerate that volley motion a little bit. Now you're slicing it, and all of a sudden it's like, there you go. Look at that. That's something you can try. Slice a ball at someone who's not prepared for it, and like just that little. I think people think when they want to slice, like their ball needs to have like almost
Crazy,
take a left hand turn. Like no, it's got to bite into the court just a little bit so that when I hit it, I am off timing a little bit. I just don't hit it in the dead center of my strings. Now you've done your job.
You won.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we're back. Thanks for doing it.
Rally pods.
All right, yeah.
We'll do the next one. What? April.
We're doing one in 2 weeks. We're doing one before.
2
You guys
weeks.
next U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Next time Sinner gets a rub down from steroids.
That's it. Yeah. It's tough, but we gotta get it going. All right, fellas. Thank you.
West
Yeah, that's fun.